Right.
Yeah, I think you got to buy like an actual streaming service software where you got to like pay them a monthly fee or some bullshit like that. In order to have something that'll stream to like many things at once, or there may be other ways, and I'm just not that knowledgeable about stream software. Maybe there's a bunch of free options that allow you to do that. I don't know. No way for me to find out, unless except spending a lot of time and money.
Yeah. I wonder if you save the episodes, or is it basically just on YouTube?
It's
like
on
you save
YouTube.
them on your computer?
At a certain point, it would start to eat up memory. Like, it would be a lot of fucking space to save them all.
Yeah. I hear you. But I was thinking maybe we should try to upload them to other sites too, because again, it's not far, even if nobody listens.
At least,
we're getting striked anyway, so it might not be a bad idea to try to upload them to other sites.
I wonder if there's sites where you can basically just plug in your YouTube information and have it like populate the videos over.
Yeah, like automatically do it.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, if I think about it, I'll fucking look it up and see if there is.
I like that. If I think
I'll
about
forget
it.
though. Yeah, but not even if I think about it. If I remember is what I should say.
Yeah.
I mean, which again, odds are that I will not remember. If past indication is or past results are an indication of future results, the most likely outcome would be me forgetting.
Oh yeah, I can understand where you're coming from. I'm probably not going to remember either. Be real honest. I'm probably not going to remember that.
I mean, even when I was young, I was pretty goddamn absent-minded, and it has not improved with age, surprisingly enough.
If we were building an audience, that would probably be a big difference.
Right.
Like there'd be people reminding us,
do that kind of thing here.
Hey, by the way, weren't you guys going to do that for the next week or something? But
Right. Yes, we were. We'll say, but we completely forgot.
Like I'm still trying to make myself finish. I started writing a story because I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna write this shit down, and still trying to make myself finish that. I got up to like roughly like the midway point where you're like, now we need to start throwing in like the fucking the struggle or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, what is? Do you see some of the crazy shit that's been going on in like, I guess, Canada and some of the other countries around like COVID testing and whatnot, where they're just like, if you want to have COVID testing done, you gotta what do you call it? They're making them pay for it themselves and stuff like that, silly shit like that, where you're like, you're the ones requiring the testing, of course you have to pay for it. Like that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, that's pretty basic. Yeah, if something like that's mandatory, you're covering the cost, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Or at least that's the way it's supposed to go.
That's the way it should go. And then they're talking about like extra taxes for the unvaccinated here, as well as in like other places like Canada and Australia. And it's like, but don't you need to demonstrate that there's some actual financial like negative involved? Because like, as far as I can tell right now, there is no excess cost to anybody other than them making you test more often, which is basically like, well, you're the ones that want the test, like go you got to fucking pay for it. That's how that works.
Yeah, it's insane to fucking make it mandatory and then make the person that you're requiring to do it pay for it.
Yeah. It's like they didn't
Yeah,
ask you
that's
to do the
fucking nuts,
test. You
dude.
asked them to do it, so you're the one that needs to be paying.
Yeah, and not even asked. Fucking told them they have to.
Yeah, essentially, yeah, exactly.
Still gonna make them pay for it.
Yeah, if you want to get paid, you got to do it. So they don't require it, but that sort of bullshit game. That's always a bit obnoxious to me.
Yeah, that's fucked up, man. Shit, forgot the charger. Oh, dude, I don't know if I had mentioned this to you before, but basically, when I quit working at Verizon, I had like a retirement account, and I cashed it out or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So apparently, somehow, like a lot of times when you do that, there's like this tiny amount left over somehow, like based on the timing or whatever. But anyways, so basically, I have like 25 cents. Oh no, it's 74 cents in a Fidelity IRA account or 401k account.
Leave it and get
Yeah,
some interest on that pocket change.
yeah. Dude, I leave it open because it still cracks me up every time they have to send me like a thing with like my yearly statement.
You're the dumb
That's
shits
fucking
that
cracks
didn't
me
do
up.
your jobs correctly and like left me with this like 5 cents in your fucking account. Now you guys got to spend the extra cash to fucking mail me all this stupid shit that doesn't matter. I like that. Yeah, make them pay for it.
Them mailing it out is worth more than the account, I'm pretty sure, dude.
Oh yeah, no, they're probably losing money on that equation for sure. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, like I should call up and just cancel it, but it's still funny to me 20 years later or whatever. Or no, not that long, but whatever.
Oh, I mean, it's
oh
like,
wait, it has been. Yeah, it's pretty close. It's not 17 years.
I went to that job interview thinking it was a regular sales job because that's what they'd advertise, like you would working in a store selling shit. And they said they said appliances, and I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty decent. I mean, somebody comes in and wants a washer, they're not likely to leave without buying a washer unless you are fucking horrible at your job. Like if you're incapable of selling anything to anyone. But I mean, because I figure nobody wants to go to like 10 stores and shop around for a fucking washer. But it turned out it was actually one of those door-to-door pyramid scheme sales things. You're gonna go sell these like magazine subscriptions from door to door, and they were fitting me up to run one of their crews. Because I went to like 3 interviews before I finally was like left in a position where I couldn't keep making them think I still wanted the job. Because my opinion was like, all right, bitch, you wasted my time. Now I'm going to come and sit in here and talk with you for a couple hours, a couple times, and waste a bunch of your fucking time too. False advertising bullshit.
Fuck you guys. Yeah. If you're a pyramid scheme or a multi-level marketing bullshit, you need to disclose that up front, dude.
Yeah, it was advertised as a on-the-floor sales job where you literally would just... go to a store and sell shit out of a department store. It was just like, I was so mad. I should have kept looking though. Oh, somebody just joined us? Hello? Oh. Detroit, I can't hear you. Oh, now I can barely hear you.
Oh, fuck. Dude, really?
Now really bad? No, now I can hear you. It came back in. It looks like you kind of cut out for a minute, though.
Alright. Yeah, I switched over to the computer. Do you hear any difference?
It's a little quieter, but it's not like super quiet. I thought you're like your internet connection just shut off for some reason.
Yeah, no,
I didn't realize you were switching.
Yeah, I probably should have said something before I did it, now that I think about it.
Man.
That would have been the considerate thing to do, I guess.
Like, give me some sort of heads up? Yeah, I definitely would have appreciated that.
My apologies.
Oh, well, whatever. Boom, boom. Yeah, that's some nutty shit. Oh, fucking, the tests right now are taking forever to go through with the COVID test because of all the stupid fear-mongering on the Omegacron or whatever. Whoa, someone playing some music over there? Or was that a radio out of a car that went by?
I didn't hear it. I heard an engine going by, so the vehicle did go by. So.
Oh, I thought I heard a guitar sound going. That's weird. Oh, Stabby's lost his fucking mind.
Yeah, no, it might have happened, dude. And I got earbuds in, so.
Oh,
you know what
okay,
I mean?
fair enough. The microphone picked it up, but your
earbuds,
yeah.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Because I could have sworn I heard some guitar music, and I was just like, "What the fuck? Is somebody just playing radio?" All right. Or maybe you just started playing guitar. I don't know. You never know.
Yeah, you know me. I always like to bust out and just play guitar out of the blue.
You know, I try not to judge people. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, and the testing is crazy right now. So like every time I go to a place that I'm testing, I've scheduled an appointment for it. And there's like me and 3 other people that have an appointment, and like a line of 20 different people that are just waiting, hoping that they can get a test that day. And it's all basic. What do you call it? Cannot think of the word. I'm guessing it's all based on people that are testing because they need it for their job or something. Like it's not like people that have a genuine concern over being sick.
Right. Just a mandatory bullshit, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's like I told you that one time I went to the one testing place and it just wasn't there. Like they reminded me, scheduled the appointment, all the things, and then they didn't show up at all. There just was no explanation of any kind ever. That was pretty fucking obnoxious.
That was pretty fun. It was like a mobile place, but they were not at the mobile place they were supposed to be at.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all it's all mobile places now, unless you're going through your doctor's office. So like, so I have Kaiser insurance. So if I was going through get a test through them, I'd have to show up at where Kaiser is and just go into their office. They were doing a lot of outside stuff, under just gazebo type tents and those little things to set up for fairs and outdoor events where the people just hang out under the white little tarps. With, mostly a bunch of those for a while too.
Yeah, I think there's because where I dropped my mom off at the senior center, there's one of those right next to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's most of the testing is done. Man. So you just have a giant group of people hanging out in parking lots all over the place now. It's pretty nutty.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
Of course, at this point, the part that I don't get is why people are still so tolerant. When it's been proven it's not at all dangerous. There's no risk. You're not gonna die if you get it. You're not gonna your grandma's not at risk. The numbers just don't support it at all. Not even the fake numbers support it at this point.
Yeah, it never was. It never warranted the fucking response.
Yeah.
Especially now. It's fucking pretty obvious.
Yeah, at this point, it's so painfully obvious. And you kind of wonder if people are just the investment fallacy where well, I've already put all this into it, so now I have to now I have to put more into it, kind of thing. Like, or maybe it's like I did it, so now everybody has to do it because I had to do it. Kind of attitude, maybe. I don't know. The whole thing
like
is
you
just
gotta suffer
baffling.
with me. Yeah, like it's getting again. It seems to be trending down the way and these things usually do. You know, to where it gets a little more infectious, a little less deadly, and it's fine. But they're still acting like they're ramping it up. Like it's a weird, like fucking reverse correlation. Like the less
Yeah.
dangerous and less deadly it gets, the more they're fucking fear mongering about it.
Yeah, I think we should just be glad we don't have a fucking concentration camps like they do in fucking Australia and Canada.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah.
Because I'm sure nothing bad happens there. That's never. I mean, historically, we know concentration camps have never led to bad things.
All right.
So,
Yeah, it's really good nothing to worry about there.
Nothing to worry about. We should all just keep on moving, and nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see. If you could all just keep moving down the line
Just trust your
and
government.
not rebel against the authoritarianism Nazis that are taking over your countries. Oh, I've been watching some of the, I guess it's called Manosphere now. The the typical sort of like anti-feminists. No, not the anti-feminists. The is it MGTOW or the no marriage or whatever people? I don't know. There's a lot of like extreme groups.
MGTOW and that. Yeah. Right.
And I think they call it the Manosphere now. And I so my opinion on a lot of that stuff is that's not everybody. They're looking, using examples from like the most extreme sources. But but that's still, there's still a lot of issues they bring up are pretty reasonable to bring up, like they are real issues. I just don't think that necessarily everything goes to quite the extremes that they're showing on some of these things, because some of them are just like
that shit insane.
Yeah, just absolute fucking nonsense. Like he was reading the comments on a guy who found out his wife was having pretty inappropriate, basically emotional adultery with a guy she worked with. And she wanted to like hang out with this guy that they'd been like friends with benefits in their past or something, and now he was back in town, and she wants to hang out with him, and because they were friends too, as opposed, and he's like saying like, no, I really rather you didn't, and she was doing it anyway.
Wow.
Which is, he's 100% in the right here. Like, let's not even pretend that there's any excuse for anyone to be hanging out with an old friend with benefits if they're in a relationship where they're like married and shit. Like, that's just not acceptable.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts. Fucking dumb cunt, dude.
And some of the comments were like, maybe you should go with her to meet this guy. Maybe that would help some of your suspicions. And shit like that. And I'm just like, dude. Fucking what? What do you mean? Like, this isn't like a fucking debate. Like, there's just never acceptable to do that to your spouse.
Yeah, it's fucking it's wildly inappropriate, dude.
Yeah, I would never
even if they had
married to some chick and be like, so this girl I used to fuck called the other day and wants to go out to dinner. I'm sure you're fine with that, right, baby? Like, no, dude. Yeah. Just don't do that shit.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure the woman. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way the woman would be okay with that shit. Dude.
No. There's no fucking way.
That's what's really fucked up. She thinks it's totally fine, I'm sure, for her to do that. But if he fucking asks, okay, well, I'm going to go hang out with my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, then there'd be a real issue.
That cool?
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, it's this kind of person is typically that sort of like asshole. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's one of those, like, obviously this is an extreme example, Because most people aren't a terrible person like this person is that we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be shocked if it wasn't, or it would never have gotten as much attention. But yeah, that was just crazy. And like one guy was like, "You should meet the guy," but like a bunch of these people were like literally trying to tell him that basically like gaslighting him for her, like that he was just like he should be more accepting of what his wife's needs are. It's like, fuck you. His wife needs to stop trying to fuck other dudes. That's what his wife's needs are. Like,
yeah, exactly.
yeah. I mean, I'd say the same thing where it, you know, the opposite genders be like the husband, you know, the husband's needs are not to cheat on his fucking wife. Like, oh my god, that one just got me because it was just so like crazy over the top. And what was it? And then there was this one chick who was bemoaning her fate at not being married, but then like her standards were like insane. And to be fair, like she made like 140K a year. She has her own business, so she's not like bringing nothing to the party like a lot of people are in similar sort of situations.
Right.
But she was like, she's got twin daughters. She's 37. She's, you know, she still looks good. I mean, she's not bad looking, but she's not
so
like.
You said she had
but she's already got like twins.
You were saying?
Yeah, she has her own business. She's making 140K
she had like a
a year.
successful business.
And
she should be looking for a dude. She should be looking for a dude that's like a decent dude that's okay with being a house husband. You know what I mean?
Think,
like,
yeah.
why would?
But he needs to make more money than her. He needs to make at least 160,000 a year.
So
what her first thing is, he's got to be over 6 foot. That was like, you know, of course, the over 6 foot nonsense.
Yeah, it is pretty ridiculous.
And he's got to be like a little bit younger than her or something like that. I think she was looking for like in his early 30s. And it was just like, I love the guy's response to it because she was actually talking to another person. And his response was like classic because it was just like, he's like, why? You're used. It's like, damn. Like, why would some dude want to just, you know, give up, be like take over all this other shit that, you know, and why would you expect that he would have all this resources to take care of you so you don't have to work? Like, those aren't his kids.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, I switched back over so I could go inside.
Yeah. I just don't, you know, when the guy told her that, like, you know, you're used, that's kind of, you know, your value is much lesser than you seem to think it is.
Yeah.
She was not thrilled.
Yeah, that is a really unfortunate thing. Is like, holy shit, you got 2 kids and you're pushing 40. Like, you're like,
I don't feel any remorse for her or any sympathy. I guarantee that throughout her, you know, all those years she spent having the kids and building that business, I guarantee there were plenty of very decent men who would have stuck with her, helped her raise his children, you know, maybe even the father of those children would have stuck around. You know, I'm sure she had an infinite number of offers from plenty of decent guys that she turned down because she wanted to go out and have her fun and party every weekend.
Yeah.
You know, why should she stick with one guy?
There's a difference. There's a difference between a 26-year-old with no kids and a 37-year-old with twin daughters.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure she's had like dozens of offers from various men throughout the years who would have been perfect. So she's only got herself to blame.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
Yeah,
made
she
those
probably
decisions.
had offers for exactly what she was looking for, dude.
Yeah.
But
So
she was 25 and wanted to fuck around.
Like, I would have no sympathy for a dude in the same situation. Like, looking for like a young chick you want to date, but you got nothing to really offer. Like, it's like, nope.
Yeah.
Dating is a fucking negotiation, not really like romantic. I mean, it's kind of like, hey, sex is great, and we both like it. Let's see if we're willing to make this work between the two of us
Yeah.
by spending a little time
Yeah,
together and seeing how we get along. But
yeah, because again, a dude wouldn't generally do that. Like if a dude was exactly the same situation, let's say he's a single dad with twin daughters,
yeah,
he would be okay with having a bitch just be a housewife. I guess that's kind of the societal norm anyway. Um, but you know what I mean? He's not going to have any insistence. Like again, you might be fine with being making money and all that, but it doesn't. It's not mandatory, you know. So it is kind of a little fucked up double standard that way.
yeah. She had her opportunities to have what she wanted throughout life. She just chose to disregard them, and she's got to pay the consequences. You're old and lonely, and you might want to get yourself a cat because you're not going to get what you're looking for in the dating world anymore.
Yeah, I'm wondering if she actually just doesn't want to work anymore. Like she wants to give up the business and just be a housewife or something. Because otherwise, why the fuck would you care how much the dude makes?
Yeah, with twin
You know what I mean?
daughters, that would be
Yeah, and
rough.
if he's making more than you, like he would probably insist you quit working or quit doing your business anyway. You know what I mean? Like that would be the pretty more likely scenario, I would imagine.
Yeah, yeah. I don't understand. That one just kind of blew my mind. It was one of those ones where you're like, how do you think this works?
Yeah, it's bizarre, man. Yeah, I had never seen that dude. The what the fuck is his name?
Taylor the Fiend.
The guy, Taylor the Fiend. Yeah, I was watching one of them because it showed some chick that was doing like what I want in a guy, and it was like at different ages, like at 23, 33, 43.
Oh yeah. I saw that one. Yeah, that was pretty nutty.
Yeah, at the end, she's just like, yeah, I want him to be a guy with a pulse.
Yeah.
You know, the one at 23 is like, he's got to be at least 6'4". He's got to fucking be ripped. He's got to make at least 250 grand a year. You know, all that bullshit.
Oh yeah. Well, there's gonna be a lot of lonely cat ladies in the next couple of decades. Because the OnlyFans thing, like there's not a lot of dudes who are gonna want to date the OnlyFans models, X models, I should say. Like while they can still sell the pussy, they'll want take a crack at it. They're not gonna want to be like in permanent relationships though.
Yeah.
But
like, oh yeah, I want to get married to a bitch who literally millions of people have seen her fucking cooch.
Yeah. Well, and then like a lot of the OnlyFans, it's the girl and the guy will she'll have a boyfriend who fucks her, or a guy that fucks her for content to sell.
Yeah. As soon as that's
and
up,
so they'll start out by like doing like maybe a little bit of nudity and some masturbation, and then eventually they'll just start doing blowjobs and getting railed.
Yeah, as the money starts dropping off, they get more and more desperate and give up more and more.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's I don't think it's a case of desperation. I think it's just the business model. Like you have to keep.
You got to keep up in the ante, man.
And you can't just what do you call it?
Yeah, you can't keep it at just the status quo or whatever.
Yeah, because eventually people are going to get bored, and that's just not going to be as useful for their purposes. Like you can't just keep fapping to the same thing forever. You gotta change it up. You gotta change the outfits. It's just the way life works.
Indeed.
So they gotta like keep amping up the product they're selling. And then so that inevitably
Gotta
leads
find
to
new
more and
and
more
interesting
revealing
ways.
and more raunchy stuff.
Yep. Yeah. I kind of wonder, like, was Belle Delphine's like viewership dropping, and that's why she had decided to do the porn?
I would say she's a special circumstance, and for her stuff, I would say the most likely thing is it's not that her stats were dropping as much as just the amount of profit to be made.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Was
Yeah,
so
doing
high
the porn.
that it was like, all right, I'm gonna cash in now because this is gonna be well worth my time.
Yeah, it makes sense, dude.
Because I mean, she probably made what, like an easy $1 million the first day. I mean,
Yeah. Well, from what I understood, she was making like close to 2 million a month before she did the fucking porn.
true, I'm sure, but still at the same time, I'm sure like the sorry, I got a little congestion there. I'm sure she made enough that it was worth it the first month. I don't know exactly how much that was. It might have been more than $1 million. But I'm also sure that her what do you call it? I'm sure her monthlies went up after that too, though. For a while, for at least the first couple of months.
Gross.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely. I'm sure it didn't go back down to what it was pre-porno or whatever.
Yeah. Plus,
Although
she probably made
probably
a
were
big
a
stack
pretty
of cash
decent
for
amount,
that first release of porno stuff.
Oh, you're talking about not
Delphine.
get up. Hey,
it dropped back. Yeah.
I thought you guys were talking. When you said monthlies, I thought you were talking about like the monthly periods or something. Like, oh, gross. What are you talking about this? Oh, gross.
Oh, yeah, that's a little less disturbing.
Is Belle Delphine even still a thing? I mean,
dude, she makes a fuck ton of money still. I mean, she's not like the big talk of the internet, but we were just chatting about. I think we got started talking about OnlyFans for some reason. And
we were talking about the 37-year-old bitch that wanted the fucking tall, dark, and handsome guy that was also made a shitload of money.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that I thought
then
was kind of funny
somehow
about
got
that was
the
like
OnlyFans.
she's making $140,000 a year already. Like, who cares? If I was making $140,000
Yeah, that's what I'm
a
saying.
month
Like, why the fuck?
or a year, I'd be happy camper. I wouldn't be worried about like, oh, does the girl I'm dating make a ton of money or not? I'd want to date some chick that was like employed,
seriously.
But, yeah.
She should literally just be looking for a guy that can fuck her right, take care of her, clean up around the house, help raise the kids,
won't fuck her kids.
be the house husband.
Yeah, like drop the kids off for soccer and not try to put his penis in them.
Not rear the kids. Yeah, like she shouldn't be requiring a dude to make more money than her. Like, especially nowadays, like they claim they want to do away with all these societal norms and these alleged social constructs or whatever. If that's true, you shouldn't give a fuck. She's worried about what her friends and fucking coworkers would think if she was with a guy that didn't have a job or that was being a house husband.
well, I think despite
or her peers.
I think despite all the social pressures that go on, I think biology is still going to play a factor no matter what. I think the whole push to make sure that the man has more money is strictly because of men are seen as providers. If the man can't be a provider, then he's not worth it. And to be fair, if I wouldn't want to date someone who made more money than me, because first of all, that mindset if it's not in her head, it'll be in the head of everyone around her. Even guys will also think the same thing. So like when that thought goes in there, like there's also going to be the social pressure to conform and get someone that has more money, and so that's there again is another factor why you probably shouldn't do it. Like I knew a woman who would also share tables with me and all that at conventions, or she'd be my neighbor, so I've known her for a while. and she had a boyfriend she was dating for a year. And then one day she came up, we were just talking, and she just sort of said, like, out of nowhere, like, yeah, I make more money than my boyfriend, and that's sad. And as soon as I heard her say that, I thought, oh, okay, you guys
what
are...
a bitch.
I know, and she just... But
Wait,
that's
what
women
a
in general.
weird-
They'll just... Yeah, that's women in general. They'll say it. Like to your face, they'll say, oh, yes, I love you. Know, soon as you turn your back and they talk to their friends, they'll always say everything. And that's the other thing to keep in mind. You date someone, like, she will always say everything. She'll say how much you make, what you do, the size of your penis. Nothing, like nothing is private when you have a partner.
Oh yeah,
But
I'm very good at fading into the background when I'm hanging out in a room with people. So I've heard a lot of conversations that were just girl talk, because I just sort of faded into the background and wasn't, actively participating.
Yeah, like I'm a firm believer of, like, I'll keep as much things to myself as possible. Like, I'm not, if I had a wife or something, I'm not telling her the finances. I'm not telling her anything. It's like, is the food on the table, or like, do you have money for food, money for everything else? All your things covered for? Good. I'm not telling you anything because I don't want anyone else. She's just gonna say everything. They're gonna gap. Well, because women they're social. They're gonna gap.
Yep, I would agree. Most of the people I worked with over the years are chicks, and like, oh God, the amount of bitching about boyfriends and husbands that I've heard, that's constant. It just never fucking ends, is a lot.
Yeah. Well, the other problem with that, the other problem with that is, like, when they start talking about that kind of stuff, it's also, they also say it to justify anything else in their minds. Like, if they want to sleep with another guy while they're still dating, it's part of the reason why they do this, so they can justify. Well, I mean, like you're a bad boyfriend. I couldn't help but sleep with another man, because they're looking for excuses.
Yeah,
and they're trying to convince themselves.
They want to make it somebody else's fault that they do horrible things. That's
yeah. Well, because part of the reason why they have to tell you this stuff is because they got, justify it in their heads about what because you know they're about to fuck another guy. And truth be told, that person I was talking about with art conventions, yeah, of course, yeah, she was fucking other guys, and then somehow she convinced the current boyfriend to let her engage in a polyamorous lifestyle. Like, you fucking cuck. That's one
of those ones that blows my mind. That right there is, like, I don't understand how people can fucking lie to themselves about that shit.
Well, I think part of the reason is because a lot of guys don't have a lot of self-esteem.
So they figure, oh, well, if I lose her, I'll never get another girl. And
exactly.
Better to suffer a little bit than deal with the horrible loss forever.
And part of the other reason is that we tend to be afraid of being lonely. Like, guys need to grow a fucking backbone, because there's very little we need to be concerned about. Very little. We're like, when women talk about men are privileged, yeah. I mean, no, not really. But also, it's really what you make out of it. I think guys are capable of earning more money, and believe it or not, you don't have to be like Brad Pitt in looks. Just be relatively presentable, and being overweight is not going to help either. So, probably best to go to the gym every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just started going to the gym again yesterday, dude. That's funny.
Good for you. I'm glad to hear that. I wish I could be going to the gym.
Well, it was my son's idea. Him and his girlfriend broke up, so I guess he wants to get in shape, get him another chickie.
Good.
Smart choice. I mean, of all the options to get another girl, that's one of the better choices to make.
Well, if you're like heartbroken and all that, the best thing to do is to work on yourself. Yeah, working out, good thing. Just build yourself up and do your own thing. Also, I'd say it helps if you don't get connected. Get a hobby. Well, that's one thing, but also if you we're social animals ourselves. We need social interactions. So, you want to go out and get laid, because that's just what you want to do. Just don't go for a long-term relationship. Probably not going to work out.
Yeah. Oh, never take dating advice from a woman?
Never. You'll ask her what she wants. No, deep down, I mean, she doesn't really know what she wants, and so you just need to need to do your own thing and tell her if she wants to be a part of it, then, follow the guy's rules. That's all you gotta do.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of like, do you remember that movie? Fuck, what was it called? It's the one with Brendan Fraser and Elizabeth Hurley. I'm thinking Bewitched popping in my head, but it's not right. But it's something like that. Bedazzled, maybe.
Is it the
But
one where
anyways,
she's
there's a
like
point
the
where like
devil
he's
and
like,
she
yeah,
grants him wishes or
yeah.
something?
Yeah, so like he wants to be the best dude for his fucking girlfriend or whatever. So he's like asks her to make him like the most emotionally sensitive guy out there, where he's like crying at sunsets and shit. And literally the girl is like, "Yeah, I know I know we say that we want that kind of stuff, but really we just want a guy that treats us kind of crappy and you know what I mean? Like they say they want this shit, but they don't.
Oh yeah.
They fucking never date a dude that."
That's such a great message.
I knew a girl I worked with
Yeah, it was fucking
who
hilarious.
one of her dating tests, because she was running tests on these poor unfortunate souls that fucking got caught in her web, was to scare the hell out of the guy and see if he had a manly enough scream. And she was like, if he shrieked like a bitch, I can't do it.
What the fuck, dude?
That sounds like something a psycho would do.
As I said, I pity the men who fell into this woman's web.
Oh my god!
There's a reason I felt bad for them.
The
But
reason
made me
it
laugh
sounds
like
like
a
that.
motherfucker because it was pretty fucking funny. Not if I was involved.
The reason it sounds like she's a psycho is because she's a
She
psycho.
fucking is. It's a terrible thing to do.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
I'm not gonna lie though. Like I had a friend who was genuinely afraid of walking on unpaved ground because she thought zombies would get her after dark. Would not walk on anything that wasn't like sidewalk or asphalt or like the floor of a house or something. I had
Greatest
no
part
interest
of
in her
that
prior
is
to that.
the nighttime.
Yeah, I had no real interest in dating that person. She was like a friend, and neither one of us had any interest in anything more than that. But had I before that night and I found that information out, I definitely would not have after that night had I found that information out.
Yeah.
I would have been like, I thought
shit.
you were kind of cute until I learned that piece of information. Now I just have no respect for you. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's so bizarre, dude.
Speaking of bizarre, what game are you playing? Because this looks like a game designed for little girls. You're gardening, you're watering, you're growing flowers.
It's one of those games where you just waste time. Right now, I'm just doing like the really annoying parts of it. I'm not playing it. I'm not out running my town. Because the other thing is, you also set up a little town and like you organize like houses and who lives in what house and who works where, and it's just like. I don't know, man. It's very satisfying and definitely designed for little girls. No, there's no doubt.
Clearly, you're just test playing it. I'm sure your daughter's gonna love it.
Yeah, I don't have any kids, thank God. Unless
Oh,
you know
dear,
something
no.
I don't. Jesus.
Oh, maybe you should stop playing this before you end up on a watch list.
Oh, yeah.
I'm joking, obviously.
Oh man. Oh, one of the things if I'm playing VR chat, I'll talk about being like somebody talks about stuff. I'll mention I'm 41, or if I think somebody might be getting a little too like wanting to do that whole internet dating thing, I'll mention I am fucking like twice your age. I come here and I play video games and I fucking do karaoke. I'm not here to make like best friends for life and fucking meet y'all offline. Like that's not what I'm here for. But sometimes I'll get some jokes about being an old man there, and I'm like, hey, look, it's not the guy who's 40 years old that tells you he's 40 years old you got to worry about. It's the 40-year-old who's like, hello, fellow teenagers, what's going on? Like, that's the guy. That's the one you got to be afraid of, because he is going to try to show up at your house.
Yeah, probably.
What was that movie where Steve Buscemi was like they made a joke about that with him coming in He's got like the skateboard over his shoulder. He's like, "Hey, what's up, fellow teens?"
That's exactly where I got
Like
that
a
line.
fucking
Yeah, I don't
50s.
remember the movie, but that's
Yeah,
definitely where I
nice.
got that joke.
Yeah.
I fucking love that
Whatever
one.
movie that was. That was fucking hilarious.
Well, it's hard to avoid. It's a meme that's all over the bloody internet.
Well, because if you
Yeah.
look at a lot of the 80s and 90s movies, like it really was a hello, fellow teenagers kind of moment in almost every one of them. You're like, that's the oldest high school kid with fucking 5 o'clock shadow I've ever seen.
Yeah, Luke Perry was in his fucking 30s, maybe 40s even,
Yeah, playing a
when
high
he was
school
playing
kid.
Dylan.
But like, also like, Breakfast Club and things like that. Those did not look like teenagers.
Yeah.
I
They
mean,
never
they were
do.
young adults at that point, and they look like young adults.
To be
And-
fair, to be fair, in those movies, like everyone makes that comparison. But have you ever seen teenage actors? They're fucking terrible. They're absolutely
yeah.
horrendous.
I think if they'd found some good actors for those movies, they probably wouldn't have been made as much fun of.
I mean, you can find some actors that look young and all that, but I don't know, man. A lot of those actors are really not very good. Like even the guy who
they could have found decent actors instead of shitty actors to avoid hiring shitty actors. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, I think also part of the problem is like you get child actors, and then like something will happen like a few years later they're addicted to drugs, and then stories come out there, and then parents don't want their kids to be actors.
Or was it Britney Spears' little sister had the Nickelodeon show for like 6 months before she got pregnant at like 13?
Yeah. So that's just Hollywood in general, really.
Yeah.
So
well,
yeah,
they
there's
can't
a.
keep their dicks out of the children. That we know.
So I think
Yeah.
like
Dan
what I
Snyder
hope.
had a weird kid fetish and foot fetish.
Oh god, that always freaks me out. Literally, a foot was the logo for Nickelodeon for a time there. It took him.
Christ.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't hear about that? Yeah, in the Nickelodeon building, their office building. If you look out there, their logo they had the Nickelodeon title, but it was in the silhouette of a foot, of a giant orange foot. It was so bloody on the nose. It was.
I watched a lot of Nickelodeon when I was a kid. I just like. I never noticed any of this, thankfully.
And see, I only ever watched the cartoons. Any live action stuff always came off as cringe. I just didn't care.
There wasn't a lot of live action stuff when I was a kid, other than like the Double Dare or whatever, the ones where it was like
Oh, the game show?
yeah, like the game shows, but it was mostly, or like you can't do that on television. So luckily I didn't catch, when I was watching Nickelodeon, it wasn't in that area yet. They didn't have a lot of like attempts at teen like drama. It was just what do you call it? It was just like cartoons and like funny bullshit shows, like they were funny. So I feel bad for you, son. You get that?
Yeah. Well, when I was younger, when I would like come home from school, and sometimes they have like evening cartoons for kids. A lot of those shows were kind of like, I lived on a farm, so we only had one channel, and they only showed like Canadian cartoon shows.
Ooh.
And like my friend who like lived in the city, they had cable. He tells me, "Oh yeah, we watched Transformers and we had reruns of G.I. Joe," and I'm like, "Oh fuck you." And they were all reruns because Canadian cable also sucked. We didn't get any of the newer stuff. We always got older stuff.
Yeah, you're describing all the shows I watched, like He-Man, Transformers, G.I. Joe.
The newest show that we pretty much...
GoBots. I watched GoBots, even though I'm sure GoBots was not super popular compared to like Transformers.
I mean,
I like
the
the
newest...
dude that was a gold nugget, a gigantic gold nugget.
What?
Remember that one, Stabby? The gold nugget, GoBot?
No, I don't. It's been so long since I've seen any of that stuff. I don't have like very good memory to any of that.
I think like the newest show that was on television when I was a kid, and I only knew about like whenever I went to go visit with my friend in the city, was Power Rangers. And like,
Power Rangers was fun. That was a fun show.
See, I look back to it and it's super silly.
Oh yeah, I
But-
could never watch it now. I've tried. It's not. Yeah, it's not the same.
Like, you watch it now, it's gonna be cringy as fuck. But I swear to God, kids will still love it. It's just you look back to that and you're like rolling your eyes and face palming into your hands. Like, why did I grow up with this? Why did I watch this?
Yeah, what was wrong with me?
But at the same time, like, if you watch a kid watching it, I swear that they'll love it just as much as you did. It's silly, they love it.
Yeah, makes sense. Oh man.
I find a picture of them both transformed and as a nugget. Oh wait, I think this kind of works.
Oh, did you
I can't
guys
remember if I have to do this on the computer.
see the guy that got fucking set on fire by the police?
No, what?
They accidentally set him on
No.
fire when they tased him because he had in his drunken fucking whatever you want to call it, like he went blasted fuck. He entered the police station after having a prior issue with the police being called to the bar he was at and basically, like, you know, kicking him out. So he went to the police station to I guess start some shit there afterwards. And after running all over the place, being extremely aggressive, they didn't cuff him at all the entire time. He started taking his clothes off. They didn't cuff him. And then he started spraying hand sanitizer all over himself with the bottle like it was in the office. That's when they started to get a little more like hands-on. Because, you know, homie's just taking his shirt off, and he hasn't taken his pants off because he can't get them past his shoes. But he's squirting their giant jug of hand sanitizer all over his chest and shoulders. So when they tased him, of course it caught on fire because, you know, that's what happens. And, you know, he ended up dying in the hospital, like, over the next couple of days from it. I like the reaction, though, when they tased him. They all just, like, ran.
What?
Like, he starts stumbling around trying to put the fire on his face and his shoulders out. And they all just sort of, like, fucking disappeared. Like, all the cops were like, we're fucking out.
Was this all caught on video?
Yes. Two of them, like, ran
Oh.
into the back offices. One guy ran around the corner from the room they were in so he wouldn't be, like, right there. And then as the guy was starting to finally go out, like, just because, you know, the hand sanitizer burned up, the cop that didn't run into the back came back and kind of patted the last couple bits of flames out and handcuffed him.
Jeez.
Man, those cops are fucking done.
Probably
They're
not.
done. I don't know if it's all on video like that. I don't know. Like, granted, if there's not like a huge outrage, but my God,
He was
I
a
don't
white
see
dude.
that.
Nobody covered it. I doubt anyone cares. I agree they shouldn't be policed because holy shit, there were so many situations right there where they should have arrested him and he should have been, like, in jail. I just gotta sit there and be baffled at, like, how is this guy not in jail yet, you know?
Mm.
Yeah, that's
But-
fucking nuts.
You know, they're probably not going to do anything because, you know, he's a white dude that got killed and they don't give a shit about that.
Could be.
Yeah. Well, you remember that video I sent from, it actually happened up here in Awatuki, which is like South Phoenix. It was literally like 2 or 3 days before the George Floyd dying,
Yeah.
where the dude was coming out because, like, his neighbor fucking made a noise complaint. And the cops showed up with their fucking guns drawn. And basically he came out and, like, he was, like, kind of sideways, and he had his gun in his back, like, offhand, just at his waist, like, hanging, you know, his arms kind of hanging. And as soon as he saw that it was the cops, he like knelt down to put the gun on the ground, and they fucking killed him, dude. They fucking shot him to death.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was a straight execution for no reason. There was no just cause for that. They had no reason at all for what they did.
Yeah,
but, you know, they just
yeah.
decided to fucking execute that guy because...
Yeah, it's so fucked up, and nobody fucking, you know, like, it was on the news here, but, like, it was way fucking more egregious than what happened to George Floyd, dude.
Yeah.
And, you know, hardly anybody fucking hears about it.
Well, yeah, that's hardly uncommon. I mean, the whole George Floyd thing was always political. It's just that was the current thing at the time, and then it was used to cause all this as an excuse to do all this nonsense. Like it's not George Floyd. I mean, there was way more like deaths and egregious things. It's just people with an agenda decide, oh, the timing is great. We're going to use this to do what we want to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's why like you hear about the whole George Floyd or like what was the other guy before that? It was like Zimmerman or something or any stuff. Like there have been worse crimes. We all know there was worse crimes. We all know there was something. Yeah, but
well, and
for
then
some
the
reason,
Zimmerman thing was, you know, the more you look into it, the more it became obvious that it wasn't about racism. It was that the kid basically tried to take his fucking head off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
yeah, he was gonna fucking stomp him out, right?
He was banging his head on
I mean,
the ground. I mean,
apparently he was like not. He was like Zimmerman was like, you know, I think he was one that like he wanted to be a cop, so he was like like calling it in that this guy looks suspicious and was like following him and kind of fucking with him. But it's still the dude.
I do think that Zimmerman should have had some consequences for the part where he's like following and doing all that, because it's like, I'm sorry, man. At a certain point,
yeah,
you've been
no
asked
matter
to
how
stop.
badly you want to be, you're not a fucking cop.
You're not a cop. Well, not only that, but you've been asked to stop by the actual like authorities. You should stop. You know, like you shouldn't be following the person around and all that shit. But like, when it comes down to just the self-defense part of it, it was at the end of the day self-defense. You know, sorry if you don't like that out there, people, but you know,
right?
It's not the same as a murder.
I mean, you might not like it, but I mean, the evidence is the evidence, and that is what happened. So, it's like you're free to have your own opinion, but you're not free to have your own facts. So you can't just make stuff up.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I like the way you put that. You're free to have your own opinion. You're not free to have your own facts.
Well, I'm not the first that came up with it, but I've heard it before, and I thought, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, whoever came up with it, it's fucking brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, good for that guy.
Cannot argue with that. That's a really good point. You're free to have your own opinion. You're not free to have your own facts.
Yeah. But of course, people will always interpret it, and then they'll say this like, well, okay, did it happen or did it not happen? Oh, it's just an interpretation? Well, then that's just an interpretation. Who cares?
Yeah.
Interpretations are like, you know, it's kind of like lawyer speak. It's weaselly speak. It's like, oh yeah, I interpret it this way, and therefore it was okay for me to kill this person. No. Just because you interpret something a certain way doesn't mean that's what happened.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So now I'm building houses. I'm building businesses.
This feels like a cell phone game put in 3D.
This is a really good thing to kill time. If you're sitting and you're just like, man, I want to do something right now and I don't want to watch a movie. All right, you know what? I'm gonna just pop this on and like go and do a bunch of like basically pointless shit and and there's gonna be colors and there's gonna be nice sounds and I can listen to a podcast in the background and this keeps me occupied.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Because otherwise,
I play a lot of Retro Bowl.
There you go.
what I mean. I usually just jerk off, and then that takes care of that.
Sometimes I don't want to spend an hour and a half masturbating, sir. Sorry. Like, there's days where you just like, you know what? I don't want to do that for an hour and a half today. Like,
to be fair, I do a lot of pictures of like women and lewds and all that, big boobs, and I look up reference photos. And you can only look at naked women and draw naked women so long before you have to deal with some problems. Like, I set up my own problem.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if I spent all day doing something, around porn, then that might be different, I suppose.
Or maybe I'm not drawing naked women, but I'm drawing them in certain poses or something.
Yeah, maybe I should get into shape and move to Southern California and start helping make porn. I'm sure.
Frankly, I'd stay the hell out of California.
No, I'm joking. Obviously.
Get out if you can.
Yeah, no.
Although
if I had the money, I'd already be out.
Although I have every reason to believe things will start getting better soon. I mean, everyone's turning on Fauci right now, and other people.
It's become painfully obvious that homie, what do you call it? What do you call it?
Yeah, he's a fucking propagandist.
Well, no, it's become fairly obvious that he was part of what funded the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, what was the other thing? The Project Veritas came out with a bunch of videos and stuff showing that he had something to do with it, but also showing that the methods we've been using are absolutely useless.
Yeah.
Like lockdowns, they don't do a damn thing. They haven't stopped the spread. Vaccines, they thought, once you get it, you're 100% protected. Oh no, you can still get it and you can still spread, which means the vaccines are useless and they're probably dangerous.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure a lot of people right now are really wondering, like, hey, why did I get this vaccine?
It's like my life didn't go back to normal. Everything still sucks. It's like, what was the point in getting this? And on top of all that, people are having side effects, and you're getting effects later on in life. Like no long-term studies, so like a year from now, things could get really.
They've already seen substantial increases in anti-clotting medication, cardio-related medication, stuff related to heart issues. There's a ton of shit that's clearly gone wrong and clearly is dangerous.
People who work in physically demanding jobs are having trouble like doing it because they have myocarditis is happening a lot now.
Yep.
I just saw a video earlier today from a guy who's a professional ballroom blitz dancer and teacher, and he can't dance anymore. He can't because of he's gotten myocarditis, and it's definitely linked to the vaccine because when he takes it, shortly after that, or a day or so after that, he started having physical problems, and he just couldn't do it. His life has been ruined. He spent his life training to do dancing and all that, and now he's got nothing. All been taken away from him. So he's going to go in for more testing, but he's like, once soon as I took this vaccine, life changed, and there's no history, no nothing. So, so like, the evidence is coming in, so we know that it's going to be a problem. We know that there's no, it's not healthy, and we know that all the evidence has shown that it's not good. So again, now that, not to mention we have like Fauci himself is coming out there and he's explaining the difference between death from COVID and death with COVID. So now he's out there, he's making that analogy, and so are the other health people. I'm like, so all the things that those so-called anti-vaxxers have been saying is true. Oh, well then, why are we doing all this?
Yeah.
So again,
well, and then they still want, they're still going through with. I mean, it looks like the Supreme Court's going to fucking destroy the mandates. The way they're talking right now, it's not look good for them. but there's still, like there's still the full court press of you need to have like, you have to get your vaccine, you got to get your boosters, and it's like, but if you're someone like me, like, look, I've already had it. I was lucky. I got a symptom-free variant, but I do have natural immunity. It is real, and there's no reason for me to vaccinate, because the only thing the vaccination could possibly do is make my immune system weaker. Like,
Well, not to mention, like if you get like natural immunity and then you take the vaccine, the chances of having adverse effects go up exponentially. Like it's like if you know you've been sick, don't take the vaccine.
Yeah. And it's seriously, it's pretty disturbing. If they ever get it to the point where it's the same as your normal flu shot, instead of this, this lie of all the other sort of stuff that's going on, I'd be in 100%.
Mm-hmm.
If it was like, oh, it's just like a flu shot where you take it and it helps you be much less likely to get the flu, but it's not in any way dangerous to you. It doesn't harm your health. There's no weird fucking with your genetic coding. That's a problem with some of the medications that are coming out too. Is they're considered like genetically mutagenic. So like, and unlike the movies, being like exposed to things that mutate does not give you magical superpowers. You will not become a crime fighter. You will just die of horrible cancer. Is usually how that plays out. So, if anybody's curious as to how that normally works in the real life.
Yep.
So, and that's like the pills they're putting out to treat this, and it's like we know it works. It's the antibodies that they fucking spin up in the lab from somebody who's already had it, and then they just flood your system with a bunch of antibodies that would need to fight COVID if it had developed them on their own, and then you almost never have any symptoms, and it's almost always gone within a day or two. Like there's no reason to research other pills or have other options, except for like the extremely rare case where somebody couldn't take that for some reason. Like maybe they're immunocompromised and it's too risky to put somebody else's antibodies in their system.
So I'm not an expert, but I did see like a video where they were explaining some things about like cancers within bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are some cases where like certain diseases are like genetic, like guaranteed you're going to get it, but like because it's inherited from your family and whatnot.
Yeah.
But what keeps it at bay and stopping from affecting you from, let's say, a young age, is because you have these T cells that sort of keep it at bay, and then it deals with that. But from what I've heard, is that some of the vaccines, they actually turn off the T cells, essentially letting these genetic diseases come out sooner. So
that's not surprising.
So like this is where I'm like vaccinating children is a horrible idea, because if you're predisposed to have cancer.
No, so this whole thing was so that you would become dependent upon them for your health. Like, and not just
well, there
like,
is
not
that.
in like a normal, like you need medications to treat diseases, but like this is more of a, they're going to, in order to deal with a lot of the fallout from the consequences of taking these vaccines, which are extremely bad for you, is you're going to require medical treatment to not die.
Well, there's
and
that, but
be
there's
the ones
also
to sell it to you. So they're going to basically be able to be like, oh, you want to live to be 60 years old? You got to buy our pills.
There's that, but there's also a legal reason that they want to do this and get it to kids. From what I've heard, is that if a vaccine is so safe that you can give it to your children, then any liability, like legal and all that, you're completely immune from, because it passed the bar to be able to give it to children. And that's part of the reason why they're pushing it to kids so much, because it's so fast. Because once you get there, there's nothing you can do. They're essentially, you can't really touch them, because at that point, we did our part. It's all the government's fault at this point. They're trying to avoid the legal problem that they're going to get, because they have all these emergency protections. But once it's approved for children, those protections are gone.
That's got to
And
be
so
some sort of Canadian thing, because I'm pretty sure that doesn't work in the U.S. Like
that's what is going on in the U.S. So
okay,
that's
that seems pretty absurd. I've never heard that before. That's insane.
well, the legal
The
systems
companies
are,
were preemptively like it's basically they cannot be sued over it if any of the complications or any
Operation.
of that shit.
Yeah, I think it was like Operation Warp Speed when Donald Trump was in charge, and yeah,
One of the things he did that I do not agree with.
It does yeah, it's fucked up, man. That should be not allowed to fucking happen. It's like how much incentive is it to make sure it's safe if you know you're not going to get sued over it, that you can't get sued over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, how can people trust something that had to be that they had to be given financial indemnity for in order for them to be willing to sell it to the American people? Like
Yep.
if somebody's like, hey, do you want to buy this medication that I've made? It's gonna fix you, and in order for me to be able to sell it to you, I'm gonna need you to sign a contract stating that you're not legally allowed to hold us responsible for any bad shit that happens if you take it. Just a normal precaution, nothing to worry about, nothing to see here. Go ahead and just sign up and give me your check. It's like, no, I'm not at all interested in taking that medication. Like, no.
so I think a little healthy skepticism is a good thing, but
I mean, that's not even just a little healthy skepticism. It's just like not being fucking retarded.
But you try to bring this up, and you're like, you're a conspiracy theorist. You don't know what you're talking about.
I think that's because people know they've made a mistake and they're embarrassed by it and they don't want to fucking admit it.
Well, there is that.
And there's also like the more of us that have to suffer together, the better, because then I won't be the only one sort of attitude for a lot of people these days too.
Yeah, I mean, misery loves company, and also they don't want to be seen, because the thing is that those people who didn't take the vax and all that, they're going to be seen as like, okay, you were smart enough not to take it, and then the rest of us look like idiots, and so everyone's going to look like a goddamn idiot once all the information comes out there, especially if you have a lot of health issues down the line in life.
Yeah, all the people that didn't get vaxxed would be more like, so how you feeling now?
Yeah.
You think
exactly.
maybe you guys should pay an extra tax on your health care because you're costing more than I do?
Exactly. And that's what's going to happen. People are going to have all kinds of health problems, and they're going to hate you. The only saving grace is as you get older, you'll naturally have health problems, but
yeah,
that's like natural old age. Young people are going to have like old man problems, and that's the part that's really heartbreaking, because I know there's a lot of young people who trust their parents to do the right thing for them, and they're like, they're going to give them this awful, terrible thing.
Yeah, well, and they're trying to force it on kids too. There was a kid in Canada who got kicked out of a Mcdonald house. So
I heard about that.
Yeah, and for anybody who doesn't know what a McDonald house is, because I mean it's possible. I don't know if anybody's actually watching or not. I should probably look more often at the chat. But McDonald houses, to just allow kids to stay there when they're undergoing like severe, like extreme treatments. So like, if your kid has to travel to another state to get like the chemotherapy that they need to like not die of leukemia, then they might get to stay at a McDonald house where like they'll be taken better care of, and it doesn't cost any money, and it saves you a ton of money and a ton of concern. So it's real shitty to do that.
Oh yeah, yep. I heard about all that. It's gonna suck because they're gonna have a lot of kids in there soon.
Yes, that's true. Maybe they're just making room. They're like, well, you're not vaccinated. You're not gonna need our help, so. It's a step in Junior.
Did you hear that businesses are so hard done by because they have so few workers that they don't care if you test positive, they want you to come into work anyways?
Well, it's the fucking sniffles now. Like, it's, Omicron took over, and it's not really a deadly disease anymore.
Well,
It
there's
never
that.
was, but I mean, like, it's beyond being able to hide now. There's no real way of hiding that it's just a little bit of sniffles going on.
Well, there's that, but also if you're so like hard done for, like for employees, and your business can't run unless someone comes into work, are you really going to care at that point? Businesses just they don't care. They can't survive. They like positive or not positive. Wear a mask if you want. I don't care. Just come in, and so that's the state that they're coming into. Not to mention, in large parts of of both Canada and the U.S., there's a bunch of big businesses closing down, like McDonald's. They're shutting down
there's a bunch of fucking fast food joints in my area that could all shut down.
You would think that they would be doing real well for themselves since it's a fucking fast food joint, but they're hurting too.
Well, at this point, if I want to order food to get delivered, which is what a lot of people are doing now, like that's pretty much what everyone does, I guess. I don't think a lot of people drive out to the drive-thrus for some reason anymore. But if I want to order sushi, it's like, $50, $60. If I want to order Taco Bell, it's $50, $60. So if I'm going to be out $50 or $60, I'm sure as shit not ordering Taco Bell. It's just not happening.
Yeah, if it's going to be the same price, you might as well get good food.
Yeah, exactly. I might as well, I might as well order from a place that's going to serve me something that they actually cooked. Like I bought a country fried steak breakfast this morning, and it was very obviously they made the whole thing there. Like there wasn't any like microwavable aspect of that meal whatsoever. And it cost me like $40 to get a country fried steak breakfast and a chicken and waffles lunch from a local diner. Whereas, like, Burger King would have cost me the same for a shitty burger and some fries and a shake. Like, the companies just aren't as profitable as they're trying to treat them as they should be. You got to pay your workers a fair wage, and that means that there's not as much profit being made by the business altogether. And if this means that fast food is gone, good. If it's not sustainable like that, that's fine. Then they need to go and fall apart, and something else can take their place, like those diners that are charging better prices, paying their workers fair wages, and still delivering better food.
Mm-hmm.
No, McDonald's is kicking out little kids. Fuck them. They don't need my money.
I don't think the raw McDonald's house
there's
is connected to McDonald's.
No, I know. I'm trying to tie the joke
in. Fair enough.
Dude, there's this new place that opened up in my town here. It's called Really Bees. It's like RILI-B apostrophe S, Really Bees. It's like a taco shack or whatever the fuck they call themselves. And it's been there for a few months, and I never tried it. But like the other day, we tried it, and like literally everything was just shit.
Yeah, like, you get a lot of that too.
Kind of shocked, dude.
Yeah, you get a lot of that from the small independent ones.
Yeah, dude, I was amazed, dude. I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
Like, how have you lasted this long selling such horrible things? I've definitely gotten that too.
Yeah, why would you open a restaurant and serve this shitty food that anybody like fucking can make better at home? Like,
it's usually in cases like that, the person who's running the restaurant isn't a cook or a chef. Like they don't cook food. They've never cooked food.
They are.
No. They're just looking at like, oh, I can make a quick profit if I do this, and so they're just running it like, oh, well, I'll just buy the cheapest shit possible. I won't, I'll keep my expenses down, and I'll just make it like a knockoff of like Burger King because Burger King's good, or I'll make a knockoff of like Panda Express or Taco Bell, things like that. And so that's how it ends up. Yeah, it's kind of.
Or it's a place where they're laundering money, and they're making
I think they're actually a chain.
Then it's probably a money laundering place, like
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, they're making the food bad on purpose so they won't have customers. but then they'll just put in all that money and say they are customers.
Well, they'll pretend they're our customers. Yeah, they won't have to actually deal with people. Actually, it's kind of ironic because if you were doing a money laundering thing at this point, you should get customers, and it'd be a lot easier to lie about a lot of the stuff being on and off the books because you wouldn't be open and people wouldn't be going in and out. So it'd be really hard to question anything.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they can send a cop to watch your doors and make sure you're what do you call it? You're not lying about how many people you've had in there.
There's multiple locations of this. I mean, it's not like a nationwide chain, but there's like 3 or 4 in like the southern Arizona.
Yeah. Dude, fucking, I got sick as shit off the Taco Bell the last time I ate it, and that place is still in business. I mean, I literally spent the entire night horrible cramps and shitting myself. Well, I'm not shitting myself literally, but almost.
Ugh. I remember getting food poisoning from a McDonald's in Mexico.
Yeah.
I learned my lesson then. Also, I ate nothing but pizza at that point because I knew I could trust pizza. They can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, pizza's hard to fuck up. That's true. Unless you get ketchup involved, then it becomes a real issue. Oh, I've been to a place where they fucked up pizza.
Yeah, this is fascinating.
Come to think of it, when I was a kid, my grandma was taking me somewhere, and we stopped to get food, and she really, my grandma loved fucking pizza. It was, uncanny how much this woman loved pizza. I'm pretty sure she moved to Palo Alto because the pizza place that she loved was, within driving range. And not because she really liked Palo Alto. But, the place she ended up taking us to, it was cardboard, but you know how cheese stretches a little bit and you kind of get a little bit of string of the cheese? Mm-hmm. This was you could pick up a slice of pizza and walk across the room and across the street and still have a fucking string of cheese.
Ew.
It was so fucking stringy, and you could not get the piece of pizza out. It was crazy. You had to just sort of like a wild animal, just gnaw on the fucking thing, on an edge, and scoop parts of it out with a big spoon.
So it comes out more like spaghetti than it does anything else.
Yeah, except the cheese just can't be chewed through. It was so bad.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I got a quesadilla from this place that I was talking about, the shitty restaurant. Dude, the cheese in the quesadilla was not even completely melted.
Oh, that's disgusting. That's really bad.
Yeah.
How do you fuck that up? Jesus.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this place is fucking inept. And it was empty when we went in, which I should not have been surprised at. The only other people that were there was people who were eating outside, but there was 4 elderly, probably 2 elderly couples, I assume. And which again, for old people, everything's supposed to be, they like bland shit for some fucking reason.
Oh, maybe that's their
so
thing.
I guess
Are
it's
all
kind
their
of perfect
locations
for them.
near nursing homes? They're we're a step up from the fucking homes, the cafeteria folks.
Yeah. There is a trailer / RV park right across the road, so maybe that's what they are going for.
Oh, could be. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, there's another one that's just a mile down the road from that. So, yeah, that's that makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah, if you know your market. Let's see. Oh, Stenchever, what's up,
Yeah, it looks like they got on Yelp. All right, looks like on Yelp their rating is about 2 out of 5, which is probably pretty generous.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yay.
There's another place right down the road here that's actually right next to the Fry's, like the grocery store. That place is really fucking good, dude. Well, at least, I mean, it's Arizona, dude. You better be bringing your fucking A game if you're going to be selling Mexican food. Unless you're targeting elderly people that can't taste anything.
You know, if it pays enough to keep the fucking place running.
Yeah, it's saying bland. Like it literally tastes like everything was somehow watered down. Just no fucking flavor at all, dude. I was like, what the fuck are you guys doing, dude? Find anybody that gave. Yeah, even the one that's rated 3, it says, yeah, price wise, it's decent. Quality of food, not so much. I didn't give it 3 fucking stars then.
Oh, maybe it's strictly a price for food. Like it's like a well, you know, I it's cheap enough and it's not terrible, so I can afford it.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah,
know,
that's a 5-star one. It says great food at a very reasonable price. My tostada was daily special. It was only $1.99 and very good. Yeah, you fucking bullshit. That's somebody that works there.
you know a place I would
I'm not
love.
native, so
You know a place I would love to eat at some point. I have to go all the way to Japan to try it out. Is the actual Nintendo restaurant in that Nintendo theme park in Japan? I don't know if you guys ever saw any of those videos about people going there just for the food alone.
No, that's crazy.
They look phenomenal. I want if I had like a way to have like a pass to go there every day for like a week just to try out all the different food menus, I try it. It looks great.
Yeah.
But also,
I'll have to look at that. That sounds interesting.
yeah,
Like
well, it's all that.
it's a theme park and people are
although
going
most
for like
of those
fucking the
places,
food. That's pretty crazy.
Oh yeah.
although a lot of theme parks do actually have decent food, surprisingly enough. You know, like at Disney, you can get a fucking fried turkey leg. Pretty
Well,
goddamn good.
it it used to be. It's not that great now. Of course, it might depend on which Disney you're going to
Okay.
because I got some people
Yeah.
like reporting because the quality of food has actually gone down and also the price has gone up. Like for like
Okay.
a hot dog, just a hot dog. It's not even like a great one. It seems like it was microwaved. It's about like $7
Wow.
for one hot dog. I'm like, that's not the
Yeah,
greatest.
it could be different. Yeah,
Well,
I mean, I haven't been to
It's a
Disneyland,
hell of a
and
hot
like
dog.
it's probably been at least been at least 15 years since I've been to Disneyland. So yeah, they could definitely have changed in the last decade and a half.
well, a lot's happened in the last couple of years. Also, like quality has not been great, and
Yeah.
they pretty much fired all their like performing staff, like the actors and stuff who play princesses and all that. And there's a whole scenario with that. Like they're in like food bank lines and all that just to get food, and they can't pay their rents, and a lot of them just keep getting laid off. So
Wow.
yeah.
Yay. Yeah.
And they charge
I'm
so
sure,
goddamn much. I think how much is a Disney ticket now? Like $150 per
Oh,
person?
they've tripled in price since you've gone by.
Yeah. Yeah, but with all the
Yeah.
restrictions, they got to be hurting so bad anyway.
Yeah, they're hurting bad. Well, the restrictions
They
is
can only let a certain amount in.
well, okay, yeah, they say only a certain amount, but anyone who's been there can tell that they let everyone in. There is no restriction. They say there's a restriction. There is no restriction. The places are fucking packed. There are lots of people in there, but not enough to make up what they need. Not to mention, I mean, they're hurting because also their movies are doing horribly. I mean, they've had
Well,
like
so many people are unemployed. So many people are scared to leave their house. Like the combination of that has to just absolutely destroy their business because there's a lot of people that aren't going to go see theater films. A lot of people who are just not able to afford to fucking pay for their streaming service or their theaters or their theme park tickets.
see, and that logic would make sense. Except look at the latest Spider-Man movie. It's on its way as being the most popular movie of all time. It's made so much money,
Because
and people
as
are
far
going.
as I could see, there was zero social justice in that movie.
Well, there's that, but also when people say like no one has the money to go out and see movies and stuff, people find ways to go see this movie, and people have seen it like multiple times.
Yeah.
So, like, the movies are still popular, and even those who say, "Well, superhero movies are on the outs." Well, then how is Spider-Man making so much money?
Well,
On
Spider-Man
top,
is the biggest international character ever, so
yeah,
that helps. Especially if you're going to put all 3 Spider-Mans in the same movie. That was definitely what I wanted to see, and I felt very satisfied that they included enough of the 3 Spider-Mans interacting. That was
and
great.
what bothers me is I still haven't seen it. I want to see it so fucking badly.
So far, the only thing I can find that I watched was a shaky cam of it. So
I heard that there are people out there who have like HD copies of it somewhere on the internet.
no, not on the
I don't-
service I use to pirate my shit.
Well, you see what happens is
What was the?
see what happens is that like I can't remember like they have to send was it like a package out for people who are signed up to be on like the Academy Awards, like the ones who vote to see which one wins which award, and so they give them free movies.
Yeah.
And so there'll be like a watermark at some point saying like for the Academy, yeah. Someone ripped it and put it out there. Who? We don't know, but thank God they did. It's obviously some celebrity. So some of these celebrities, are like us and just sort of say, "Oh, fuck it."
I like to think it's all. Oh, what was his name? Now I can't think of it. Everybody loves doing impressions of the guy, Christopher Walken. It's all Christopher Walken just giggling to himself, ripping every single DVD he gets because he's like, they'll never fucking think it's me.
Yeah, I don't know. Part of me thinking it's Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito's in there.
He puts on his penguin costume, runs back to his computer every time he gets a package from the Academy. He's like, I'm the villain, motherfucker.
Screams at his wife, "Get me some fish." What kind? Halibut.
Oh man.
You know, fucking.
There's a thing I'm having trouble getting a hold of anything to do with, man. Any kind of seafood.
You can't do seafood?
No, I'm just having trouble getting a hold of like, some cod or some halibut or some fucking salmon.
Really? Shit. Aren't you in California? Are you close
I'm in
by
California, like 35, 40 minutes from the coast if you drive fast.
You would think you'd have lots of access to that, but really?
It's not in the stores.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
That's strange.
Or I should say, because you can buy like a big bag of frozen fillets of whatever kind of fish. I'm not finding any of that. I'm sure if I drove all the way out to the coast and the markets out there, I could probably get fresh stuff. But that would be,
Wow.
an hour and a half of fuel plus driving plus the cost of, it would be pretty expensive compared to buying it at the grocery store. But you can see the supply line holes. There's a lot of supply line issues. And we're not really even scratching the surface of how bad that's going to get yet. So that's going to get fucking terrible.
Yep.
In the next couple of months to a year. That's going to go real bad.
Yep. I imagine we're in for some.
I foresee
You know what's
rationing.
a weird one that seems to always be out of stock? For some reason, English muffins are constantly out of stock when I go to the fucking grocery store.
Oh, weird.
It's fucking weird. Yeah, I was like, why English muffins, dude? That's bizarre.
Well, I think for that you need to go to a bakery. Like if you're going to a Walmart, that could be a problem because nothing is made there.
True.
Well,
Like
no, even because they do make them there. Like the bakery makes English muffins, but even those were not in stock. Like they have like the Thomas's English muffins. They have the store. They have the regular store brand, but then they have ones that they actually make. None of them, dude. Or at least, well, they have like whole wheat ones or like ones with raisins in them, and they have some of those.
I mean the
But for
gross
regular,
ones.
just regular English muffins, dude. Like 3 times in a row, I went and I couldn't find them because my son likes the English muffin pizzas every once in a while. So yeah, literally for like 4 days in a row, or 3 out of 4 days, nothing, dude. The 5th time though, I finally.
Sensoka got no supply issues. Fuck you, Sensoka.
Some people will have issues and some won't. It depends on what's.
I'm just waiting.
Location.
I'm just waiting because I foresee big supply chain issues in staple food items soon.
Yeah, well, that and rising prices and all that. So
yeah. Oh, I mean, gas was over $5 a gallon the last time I went out shopping.
Yep.
To buy gas, and that's pretty fucking insane.
Yeah. Well, I always say people go.
I think it's only like $3.60 where I'm at.
Well, I mean, I should never tell people to go out and get food because then there won't be any for me when I get there.
Tell everybody not to
I
worry.
would say you're better off learning to garden, figuring out places, even if you live in an apartment where you can grow something. Your window brings in enough light that you could probably grow a tomato plant or some potatoes or some onions or some garlic.
I mean, maybe that might be good for
anything to offset your costs and increase your food supply.
Pretty much. The hard
herbs,
Well, the hard thing is I live in Canada. It's cloudy most of the time, and there's nothing to grow because it's winter. So none of that.
Well, I mean, you can't grow out of season, obviously.
Yeah. So
but,
for me,
even in the winter, you could probably have an herb, like a pot that grows like 2 or 3 different kinds of like herbs that you use regularly by the windows. I imagine.
No, we can't do that. The sun comes out. It's cloudy majority of the winter here, so we don't get it. That's why we need to take vitamin D supplements. So like we don't get sun very often. It's like cloudy all the time. And part of the reason why we always have to try to be like polite here in Canada is also because like depression is always going up because if you don't have sunlight, it can upset your mood.
Seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah. Oh, I saw somebody with the worst. That just reminded me. I saw somebody with the worst name in VR chat. Their character's name was Sids.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, sudden infant death syndrome.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like, goddamn, that's dark as fuck.
Some people have a little too dark of a sense of humor.
Right? You're like, just damn, man.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to go soon so I can go make supper.
Yay! I just spent like an hour or two before the start cooking up a bunch of chicken thighs for later.
We're always talking about food here.
Yep, it's the food section.
Is that what's happening? The food section?
Yeah, Coney 2012 wouldn't let this happen. Yeah, I saw a great recipe for putting a crispy batter on meats on a Japanese cooking YouTube channel. And man, that shit is amazing. And it's so simple. It's like an egg, a couple of spoons of flour, and a couple little bits of water, and you just stir that shit up. Dip your meat in the batter, and then roll it in fucking panko or whatever breadcrumbs you have. Panko is always the better choice because they're just better. But goddamn, it comes out so good. You gotta just fry it and then bake it. Fry it till it's got the color and finish it off in the oven. But it's nice if you, I don't know if anybody else does this, but I like to cook a bunch of like chicken thighs and pork chops and like hamburger patties. Not steaks though, because those don't heat up in a microwave very well. But then I've got all these protein portions of meals like done and ready to go. So I just like put them out the night before and heat them up in the microwave. And then you can just, fix like a fresh salad or something with it. To go on the side. It's kind of nice.
Speaking of food, what gets me going, and I almost hate this show because it does it to me, but there's a restaurant, an anime called Restaurant in Another Dimension.
Yes.
And I think I've mentioned it a few times. I don't know, have you ever seen it, Happy?
I've seen like the first half of the first season before I kind of lost interest because it just kind of got repetitive.
It is. But I think like that's the example of it. It's like how would a dwarf describe eating a chicken cutlet, or how would someone who's never had seafood before describe like coconut shrimp? That's the gimmick of it all, and I hate it. But then I get watching it sometimes. I'm like, oh fuck, I want it because then yeah, it's like yeah. Which reminds me, the the best coconut trip I ever had was this one restaurant in Mexico, and it's the shadiest looking place you ever did see. Like it's all like board what are those boards called? Like these flat sheets of wood, just nailed together or painted over. It's fucking shady as fuck. Great food though. I don't know how they do it. I wouldn't want to be in that neighborhood at night, but boy, it was good.
Yeah, I don't want to be in that neighborhood that evening. Yeah, that's for sure.
Especially if you're in Mexico. But it was like high tourist areas. It was like Puerto Vallarta, and so it's going to be a high touristy area. I imagine there won't be too much in the way of crime. Opposed to if you went to someplace that was much more riddled with the stuff.
Nah. Very true. Coney 2012 would put kids to work. He wouldn't let these bad things happen. Oh man, Kanye for president. Coney 2022 or 2024 would be the next presidential election, right?
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
Yay. Man, I don't know what else there is to talk about. I'm so fucking run out of stuff.
Oh yeah. All right. Let's see what else is happening. We talked about the nonsense with the virus. Did you guys hear about that statue on the BBC building getting vandalized?
No.
Okay, so there's a small history. I don't remember the name of the guy, the artist who sculpted the sculpture, but it's like this saint or priest or whatever, and in front of him is a naked child, a boy in particular. I don't know what the message was for all this, but it doesn't look good, especially if it's on the BBC. It turns out the artist who was commissioned to make the statue, he raped children.
Oh Jesus!
And yeah, so here's the statue, and so some guy today he got up on the ladder with a hammer and he started like trying to break off pieces of the statue. I think he knocked off the feet of the kid. He was working his way up. I don't know how far he got before police got him, but all that was going on.
God damn.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was in response to the fact that the BBC is obviously corrupt, but also it turns out there's going to be more cases going against the prince there.
Man, it's almost like at this point anybody who works in Hollywood should be like investigated. And in Hollywood of multiple countries, obviously, like whatever the equivalent is in whatever other country, because it's so fucking ridiculous how many of these people are raping children all the time.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's a factor. I wouldn't be surprised if there was connections to all these bigger ups. But yeah, what I'm getting at is that the prince, all these cases are going up there. But you also have to remember that the prince, I can't remember what his name was, but he has all these military credits and awards and all that kind of stuff. He was stripped of all of them today.
Oh, good.
With all the stuff going on there.
I mean, like Jesus Christ,
Yeah. So that all that was stripped. The BBC is trying to cover it all up, and some guy gets there and he vandalizes the statue, which is a clear symbol of a pedophile. So okay, all right, things are happening.
That's better than usually seems to happen. Like, there's a lot of this shit where it's like, like all the people that were involved in what's the suicide guy's name? Epstein. All the Epstein people. Like, we're not even trying to get, names out of that chick or go after any of these people to find out if there's anything, So maybe we can't prosecute them if she gives up their name. That doesn't mean we can't find out if there's other things that they've done that are just as prosecutable. You know? Or if maybe some of these girls manage to survive and escape the island and whatever, maybe through compliance, whatever you want to call it, maybe some of them might be able to come forward and start pointing out some of these people and get their get them put in jail where they belong.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
like
maybe
that would be. I would assume most people want that to happen, like, because there's been a lot of talk about like Biden is talking about trying to get rid of the filibusters and stuff like that, and it's like, well, that's kind of what makes our democracy work, is that it prevents it from being straight up mob rule. It's one of the balances and checks kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the nuclear option was so like, people were so unhappy about the nuclear option when the Republicans did it, because it's like, well, you're just setting it up to stop the whole balance from being a balance.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want to see these people, more of them, go to jail. That's, you know?
That's not too much to ask. I just want to see bad people in jail. That's all.
I just want to
want
see
them
people
locked
that commit crimes go to jail. Yeah, that's a definite truth. Including all the people that did the terrorism in all these different cities and stuff like that.
That's
You know?
all. I'm not asking for a lot, am I? Bad people in jail? That's all.
That's all I want. I just want to see criminals in prison. And I want to see people that aren't criminals out of prison. So if we get, like, anybody that, you know, is stuck in there on stupid charges, like, I had a half an ounce of weed on me. All right, let's let that guy go.
Mm-hmm.
And let's put the guy that, like, you know, fucked a 13-year-old because he could get away with it, you know, as the principal of the fucking local junior high. You know, like, let's put him in prison now. Like, instead, can we do that? Is that too much to ask?
Absolutely, that's too much to ask. You can't get that. Yeah. Oh well, you can keep hoping.
LOL. Yeah, I wish. It's just a shame. So it's
Not gonna happen.
not good. Yeah, that's painfully obvious, sadly.
Ugh.
Oh man, there was something
Yeah.
else I was
What else
thinking.
is happening?
What else is happening in the world?
Nothing. Everything is coming up roses. There's nothing at all to be concerned about. Nothing at all to be afraid of. We're all, everything's perfect.
Yeah, there's nothing scary happening in the world. Nothing like
exactly.
that. Everything's coming up roses.
You know, except the occasional concentration camp in, like, you know, other countries. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. I'm sure there's something funny I could be saying if I was good at making jokes.
Good point. I think we're running out. Do we want to call her quits?
Are we good for the day? I mean, it'd be an hour early, but I don't know. I'm genuinely, I got no idea what else I could bring up for.
An hour early? How long do you usually go for?
Like 3 hours,
Usually for 3.
Jesus Christ, how long have you been going for?
Dude.
like 2 hours.
Oh, okay. A 2 hour short.
Hey, let's talk about whether. Let's talk about whether or not reality or slash existence itself actually has a beginning, or did not have a beginning, and it's just always been.
I mean, that's kind of like referring to whether or not there was like creationism or something, I suppose. Maybe not from a superior being. Maybe it was just by chance, I suppose. But I don't think that there's.
Not really.
I mean, there could be a reason to think that, but at the same time, not really.
Yeah, no, I'm not concerned with how it happened. I'm just I'm asking like, okay, um, again, reality slash existence itself, not this universe or even limiting it to like the universe or whatever.
Mhm.
Reality itself or existence itself uh, kind of has to have had a beginning, but it also at the same time like it kind of just has to always have been and not really had a like an actual beginning.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? That makes
I think
sense. I'm probably not explaining it right.
I think I get it. I mean, there's reality as we know it, because I mean, collectively we all understand that the sun is the sun and all that. But a lot of that is just based on what we know, and some of it's just stuff that we comprehend, and a lot of it is stuff that we don't comprehend. And not to mention there's comprehension from a collective, and comprehension from the personal, and so from a personal perspective, reality is what as much as we can perceive it, and the only reason we perceive it is that we compare it to other people's points of view as best as they can, describe it, and then we assume that it's correct. Doesn't mean it is. There's a very real chance that our understanding is completely wrong. So be it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of just like I don't know. That question just always every once in a while, but just fucking bugs me. Like, cause I got to think about it. Like, okay, yeah, there had to be. I guess there must have been at some point, um, a start to all this. But like, what happened before that? Yeah, and it's not philosophical or whether God exists or not. Um, it's kind of paradoxical. It's similar to the Schrodinger's cat thing, kind of. I think.
Mhm.
The cat's either alive or dead or whatever. But it's like, okay, there had to be a beginning, but then there can't really have ever been a beginning because existence just always was.
Like that
If there's
song, the
anything
constant
before
craving
that,
has always been. I'm sorry, that was a terrible joke, and I apologize.
it's not like that at all, dude. You need to flog yourself, dude.
That joke was bad, and I should feel bad.
You need to punish yourself.
I need to punish myself. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, indeed. That is what I'm.
Punish myself.
Kill yourself.
Albino dude and the albino dude in uh, Jesus Christ. Why can't I think of the name? The Dan Brown thing with where Tom Hanks played the guy. Jesus fucking Christ! Oh, the Da Vinci Code.
Yes, the Da Vinci
Remember
Code.
the albino guy? The albino guy had to he would flog himself with like a cat of nine tails or something when he did something wrong.
Yeah, you look that yeah, well, yeah, that's oh, there's a special term for that too.
Masochism.
Self-flagellation.
No, I mean like it's like a term, like a religious term that you're supposed to use for that self-flagellation kind of thing.
Sadomasochism? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't care. It's not that. It doesn't really matter that much.
Atonement, maybe.
It's too creepy for me as far as I'm concerned.
Atonement, maybe.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck
Honestly,
yeah.
I think anyone who engages in that should go to therapy. It's like, too creepy, man.
Too creepy.
Too creepy. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. You know, one of the pizza shops here, Pizza 73, they now serve keto pizzas. Part of me wants to try it out of curiosity.
Huh. I
Keto
mean,
pizza.
I've made some keto pizzas and I've bought some frozen ones. They're usually not bad. They don't. I mean, they don't ever taste like real pizza.
See, knowing me, I'm just gonna. I'll save it for my cheat day because I look at it, I'm like, it doesn't look like much of a pizza. It looks like it's thin and like there's not much there. Like I'll get like a regular pizza and a keto pizza. I'm gonna double dip into this.
Yeah, I mean, it's generally it's like the crusts are usually made out of like meat and cheese and egg, or like vegetables and cheese and egg. So like cauliflower or like ground chicken or ground beef or something, and then they put the a sauce on the top with some cheese and whatever other toppings you want. Like they're usually pretty good. I'm sure like if they're selling it in a place, it's not the worst option possible for keto.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna try it one of these days. That's for sure.
It was one of the few things that like it doesn't really taste like pizza. Like if you're trying to replace something from that you can't have on keto, it didn't taste like the original thing, but it was pretty darn good. Because at the end of the day, you're putting meat and sauce and vegetables and cheese together, and that just generally works out pretty well. There's like, look at all of Italian food, like just add pasta to meat and sauce and cheese, and like almost every dish they serve. Yeah, but I would say the cauliflower crusts and the cheese-based crusts are all pretty darn tasty. Another really good keto item. A lot of the cheesecakes you could make on keto were really good.
Oh, you can have cheesecake?
Well, you can, just take out the sugar and it's eggs and cheese. So if you find a different way to sweeten it that's not sugar and doesn't add carbs, you're good to go. The graham cracker crust obviously is gone.
Yeah.
But you can replace that fairly easily with almond flour. So, even the crust can be pretty closely copied. In all honesty, a lot of the keto cheesecake crusts would work really good on a regular cheesecake, if in fact better than your typical graham cracker crust would go. But, I saw they sell graham cracker crumbs now in the store. It's like you just buy a box of graham cracker crumbs.
I feel like looking this up.
I'm surprised it took so long to sell that, because there's a lot of things where graham cracker crumbs come up when you're making desserts, and I'm sure when they're manufacturing graham crackers, there's a lot of fucking crumbs.
Yeah.
As a natural byproduct that they're already had anyway.
I think the important question is, has Hugbee's done an how it's actually made episode on graham cracker crumb?
Yeah, that guy's pretty good. I love Hugbee's stuff.
Dude, he's fucking hilarious, dude.
I still can't watch anybody stream video games on Twitch, but his stuff on how it's made is excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, did you ever watch the Pug one where he talks about, he does like the Dogs 101 ones, makes fun of them? The one for the fucking pugs is hilarious, dude.
Well, pugs shouldn't fucking exist. People need to stop being allowed to breed those poor fucking animals.
Yeah, that's kind of his point through the whole thing, dude. Is that they're an abomination, dude.
I already like it because seriously,
Yeah.
like they're born with like natural breathing problems. And like that's part of the fucking breed trait that you're aiming for? Like, God, what kind of monster are you? Like
An awful one. Clearly.
man, it's like, God damn, dude, poor fucking dogs.
Yeah, it really is fucked up. Like their tail can't move, and it's in a weird curlicue thing, so their balance is kind of naturally off. Their face is just this weird flat thing with folds. And fucking constantly have to be cleaning that shit out or gets infected. Ugh. Yeah, it really is. The existence of pugs is just, it's cruelty, dude.
Yeah. I mean, if you have one, don't kill it, but don't let it have babies. That's all you gotta do is stop having pug babies.
Yeah, not even just not breeding them. Literally sterilize every single one of them, dude, because it's cruelty to continue to let those exist.
Yeah. They didn't ask to exist, and if they could get enough breath in order to like talk, they probably asked to stop existing. In a lot of cases.
Yeah. Oh fuck. But yeah, it's basically it's pretty short, dude. It's like it's a little over 3 minutes. It looks like it's basically a 3-minute roast of pugs, dude.
No, I have heard many a roast of pugs.
Yeah, this is fire. I'll post it in here.
I've never actually heard a pug being roasted over a fire. I imagine that would be very loud. At least to start.
Yeah. It's probably less unpleasant than its regular existence, if you think about it.
Might be. Well, it depends on if the pug is alive when they start the roasting.
All right.
I have a hard time picturing them like actually being roasted as the cooking. I just keep thinking like just people yelling at pugs.
Oh,
yeah, ugly. Yeah, oh yeah, wank that.
Like at one point. Like, what is that weird fold like underneath its eyes? Like it goes from fucking dude. That's the fucking shittiest looking dog, dude. Oh yeah, at one point he does say that. He's like, some people will make the claim that these animals are cute. These people are wrong.
There's no insult. It's just they're wrong.
Yeah. Because at one point he also says he's like, kind of just their whole existence. He's like, because there's some things that man should not have tampered with.
True.
You can criticize God, but
yeah,
he would never have made something this stupid.
Yeah, don't blame God for this one. This is all on humanity. Yeah, or Dachshund. Dachshund's not quite as bad, but it's pretty bad. Long ass dog with tiny little fucking legs. But at least it has a fucking proper snout on it. You know what I mean?
Well, like almost all dachshunds end up paralyzed at some point from like the middle of their back. So like,
yeah, that makes sense, dude.
It's like a ticking time bomb until they stop being able to use their hind legs.
You got to give them wheels. You got to put those wheels in place of their legs.
Something went wrong in that breed mentally somewhere, and they really just have no idea that they're little dogs at all. So they're like incapable of acting
it's kind of like
weak or small. It's like, what's that? That German Shepherd gave me a cross-eyed look, and it's 4 or 5 times my size easily. Yeah, I can take him. And then they'll fucking go for it, and they'll get beat the fuck out of, and they'll roll over, shake it off, get back up, and be like, nah, maybe this time it'll work, and then go for another round. They just don't get it.
Yeah, I think Chihuahuas have that same issue.
I think Chihuahuas weren't they bred to like guard children, so they were supposed to just never stop barking as any kind of danger was nearby. So like, anytime there's an adult, they're thinking they're in Hollywood.
American Chihuahuas.
Mm.
All right. Yeah, there are definitely some animals. Yeah, dogs are pretty much the worst. I think hairless cats is kind of cruel. Maybe
Hairless
that's just
cats
me,
are.
but
Yeah.
yeah. Hairless any animal that's normally has hair. Like ever seen a hairless bear? It's just fucking bizarre, dude.
Oh yeah. I remember at one point I was looking up a bunch of hairless animals to send pictures to somebody for some reason. And they get pretty bizarre. Like there was that hairless sloth that the little kids killed in some fucking third world country because it looked like a fucking alien.
Yeah, I just freaked out. Yeah,
Yeah, but if you see pictures of it, you're like, no, that's just an albino sloth. And then you're like, oh, that's pretty horrific. These kids just beat it to death.
yeah. The fuck? They kicked me off.
No, you're here still. I think we just had a dead zone.
Yeah. Oh,
Nobody
okay.
had
I thought it
anything to
kicked me
say.
off. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I thought it kicked me off because I was hearing nothing.
No. We're just quiet because we're trying to figure out what to say. Gone through everything. There's a lot happening in the news, but at the same time, I mean,
It's the same shit that happens every week, though.
I
You know what I mean?
think
It's like
people
it's
are.
all related to the same exact shit, so there's really not a lot to go over.
Well, I mean, how many times do we really need to talk about like the virus, the pandemic, corrupt politicians? I mean, there's nothing new. It's just that it's becoming more and more in the mainstream. Like now, everyone's pretty much saying the same thing.
Yeah. Sensoka wants to know what form of government best suits Factorio. I do not know what Factorio is. Is that a video game? I assume.
Anarchy. It's your answer to everything. Not really, but I mean,
At this point, like, why not? You know, I'll give it a shot. Let's do anarchy. See how that works out.
it'll fall apart within a couple months.
Well, you know, the second you and like your neighbor are like, hey, let's not kill each other. Does that work for us? Yeah, let's just not anybody else's fair game. But we won't kill each other. It's like, well, you're not in anarchy anymore.
Not to mention, I mean, when you get large swaths of populations, like you get people in the thousands and the millions, I mean, you're gonna have to form some kind of government because there's too many people.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I know anarchists always talk about how the government is bad, but I swear to God, you're gonna depend on it at some point. So, I mean, if you want to go with the anarchy route for at least a little bit to shape the government up and say, hey, we don't need you. I mean, that's one thing. I think we're already seeing like a form of anarchy with things like Bitcoin, because like the government is so incompetent, and like you look at the financial situation we're in right now, it's like people are just saying, well, fuck everything right now. We're just gonna go to Bitcoin, and it's more valuable than the American dollar, or maybe not. I don't know what the value of it is, but it's up there. I kind of wish I got into the Bitcoin game like a lot sooner, but at the same time, I'm thinking it's not gonna last because eventually people are going to be like, because the whole inflation thing is going to be scaring people, and then the government's going to have to go into action and fix this because they've been neglecting it or egging it on because certain politicians probably work for foreign governments. Like here in Canada with Justin Trudeau, it's so clear he works for foreign interests. It's like you clearly don't work for Canada. You're just an agent for some other government body. You're a
Oh
traitor,
yeah.
is what you are. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Factorio is a video game. A factory building genre game. Oh, cults. Yeah, we could just go with random cults. Everybody gets to start their own cult or join a cult if they want. Fuck government. We'll just have a bunch of small cults.
We'll create our own religion, our own little communes. We'll sort everything out there, and I mean, the leaders get to fuck as many bitches as they want. That's the way cults work, right?
This is cult rules.
Like, why did you start this cult? I just wanted to have lots and lots of sex. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know how that works for sure. If there's like a set of rules.
Did you guys ever hear about various different anime shows created and sponsored by cults? No?
Wait, what? Say again. I'm sorry.
All right. There are animes, like TV shows and movies that were fully funded and all that by big budget anime production companies because they needed the money, but it was funded by cults. And it was to promote their religion.
Oh, no.
Such a things do exist. Most people sort of forgot about them, mostly because they're not very well written. They're competently animated, but they're not very well written. I can't remember what it was. I have to look it up again, but like they're all available on YouTube to try and promote stuff. And can't remember. I think the guy who created who worked on the Fate series animated this cult movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, you can make enough money to start your own anime.
I mean, if you were to make your own anime, why not do something that would be more fun? And it's just like, he downloaded and started a cult. Okay, we're good.
Can you imagine if Attack on Titan became a cult? People start dressing up in the outfits.
I never watched Attack on Titan.
Oh, okay. You avoided that whole thing. All right.
I'm not a big fan of gross out gore that kind of genre of anime stuff.
Oh, you like the more happy-go-lucky stuff?
Where there's blood everywhere, and they're just like bathing in fucking fountains of blood and shit like that.
I hear you. I hear you on that one. What sucks though is like if it's really good, it's like I gotta tolerate. Like that's my feeling towards because for one, I don't really care for the Fate anime series, but they had their prequel series called Fate Zero, and it's very well written. It's so fucking bloody, man. Some of the stuff that goes on there, it's like, this is so gross, but it's so well written. Fuck. And you can't like, okay, there are certain characters are going to survive because they're like in other series. Like, okay, clearly that one's going to live. But then you look at some of the other ones, like everyone else, like all bets are off. Anyone could die.
Huh. Well.
So yeah. If someone ever asked me like if they want to get into Fate and they're like, oh, where to start? Honest to God, there's no really good spot to start because nothing's ever really connected, even though technically it's all connected, but it's not.
Like man, we're all connected, man. Like,
yeah,
level.
Fate's so deep, man. We're connected, but you're like, how are we connected? Nothing makes sense in this show. It's like every series you watch, it's self-contained. How is any of this connected? None of it makes sense.
Oh, yeah. They did that for a bunch of shows or something?
Yeah. Like, if you watch Fate, like, if you watch the original series that came out, it's boring. Then there's the prequel, and then they redid the first series, but then they changed a lot of things in the first series. And then there was, like, a spin-off series, and it's like, okay, so... But then you find out, all this stuff happened. It's clearly not connected, but it's supposed to be connected, and others take place in different universes. Nothing makes sense.
Yeah.
It's fucking garbage. Not to mention the start of the Fate series, the very first start of it. It started off as a fucking porno book. That's its origin.
That's tough to go back from. Yeah, it's kind of hard to make that into something more interesting after that.
Yeah, because it's all about like like wizards and
Tits and
magicians.
ass.
Yeah, well, like it starts off like the concept's interesting. Like a wizards, like the like think Harry Potter is like a wizard society that lives adjacent to human society,
Yeah.
but every like it's either 10 years or 50 years, I can't remember. They go through this Holy Grail war, and you can summon heroes from the past to battle for you, kind of like Pokemon.
Hmm.
And they have to do what you tell them to do, and the winner of this gets any one wish granted. And yeah, that's the concept. But then of course the servants you summon have to serve you and do exactly what you say. And obviously, if you're gonna summon some hot chick, you're obviously gonna fuck her.
Oh, well, that's a standard in every cult that's ever existed, is the leader gets sex from most of the women.
Yeah.
In fact, it's rare that any of the other members of the cult that aren't high ups have access to any of the women at all in a cult.
There you go.
But it will, except in certain cases where the leader will like marry them off and set them to breeding more women for him to fuck. Like,
I've had my fun with this one. Marry him off to though.
yeah, exactly. Like, I bet she makes some good kids, and then when they're old enough, which is usually like 14 or 15 in a cult, they can then be spiritually married to me, and I get to stick my pee-pee in her.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And that's with the biggest cult, Mormonism. That's how that worked for a very long time, and still works in some places.
Depending on where you go, I don't know.
Some Mormon groups are like that, some aren't. There's a whole big section of Mormons that left and live in Mexico now because they wouldn't accept the only having one wife thing. So, I mean, it's just, it runs the gamut.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's a lot of people that like to defend Mormons. Like, no, they're not all bad. No, but some of them really are. Like, and even the ones that really aren't that bad still contribute to, what was it? No, it was Utah having like the highest homeless teen rate ever in like the country, because Mormon families will fucking throw out their gay children. Like, before they're adults, they'll just throw them out. And then the police, if the kids call the police will show up, take the kids home, and be like, "Hey, you can't kick them out." And they're like, "Okay, I guess we can't." And then the police leave, and then they kick the kid out again. So, like, kind of a bad problem over in fucking Utah because of Mormonism and their weird shit about homosexuals.
Yep. Because that makes sense, clearly.
It blows my mind that some fucking guy from, Imagination Land, you're gonna just like read a book and be like, well, this author felt very strongly against gay people. I should totally listen about his imaginary sky man who watches me masturbate and throw my children out of my house. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people?
Exactly. Yep. Anyway, I gotta go make supper, so I will
go have food, small Canadian man.
Thanks for stopping by.
It's fat Canadian man, and soon it'll be small Canadian man. I'm not there yet.
have fun eating soon-to-be smaller Canadian man.
There we go. That's more accurate. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Rabble, rabble, rabble.
Isu.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to those chicken thighs when it's time for food. Just gonna cook some fucking asparagus up and have me some chicken and asparagus.
Yeah, I just made fried chicken like the night before last. And my son actually wants me to make it again tonight, so it must have turned out pretty darn well. Yeah, he's weird though. He will not.
It's kind of hard to fuck up.
Yeah. And the air fryer, it turns out fantastic, dude.
Oh yeah, the air fried chicken, that would be some tasty chicken.
Yeah. I just baste it with butter like halfway through. Like, I'll cook it for about 20 minutes in the air fryer. I pull it out, baste it, flip it over, baste the other side, obviously. Yeah, put it in for another, 15 to 20 minutes. Comes out fucking amazing, dude.
Oh yeah. Do you even put like a breading on the outside, or is it just chicken, like plain chicken?
No, just plain chicken, dude, and it turns out
Nice.
really good. Yeah, just I mean, obviously I put seasoning. I put
Well, oh
pepper
yeah,
on it.
yeah, yeah.
And,
I wasn't saying like unseasoned. Yeah, no, I just meant whether it was breaded or not.
yeah, no, I've tried that, but I'm not good at it. Although I should probably. It's I don't know. It turns out so well without it that I don't bother trying it because the skin gets pretty crispy from the air fryer.
Yeah,
So
honestly,
yeah,
if
I don't really
with
mess
the
with
air
all that.
fryer, because I've done wings with it once. Well, they weren't wings; they were drumsticks, but I did them like wings.
Yeah, the drumettes or the
No,
full
these
size
were just full
drumsticks.
size drumsticks.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha.
I just cooked
Yeah.
them in the
That's
same
all I
fashion
get.
as one would cook chicken wings.
Yeah, that's all I get are the drumsticks. I don't like messing with the bones and shit that you get with the breasts or thighs.
Yeah,
Um,
I like thighs
so I
and
just
skinless, boneless chicken breasts for
yeah,
cooking
the skin
stuff.
formal ones are okay,
Yeah,
but
well,
yeah,
I
I
mean, like
really like
sometimes
the
you're cooking
straight
something where you
drumstick.
just need chunks of chicken, and like the skinless, boneless breast is the way to go. Like that's your best.
Yeah,
I need
yeah,
little
it's so
like chicken
easy.
bites to throw into something. Yeah, or like if you're gonna make a chicken
Yeah,
salad or a chicken, or like a salad that has chicken in it. Because chicken salad and salad with chicken are two different things.
indeed.
Man, all these
So yeah,
people trying to fucking spam the chat. It makes me feel like we are growing. The random bots. It's like, oh, we must matter enough that the bots are showing up. Oh wait, no, they're probably in everything. That's why it's bots. Oh man.
happen.
You know, that's a stupid whatever it is, the phishing bot. I think it tries to get your what do you call it? Personal information to rob you, that one. Because there's a lot of different bots and they all do different kind of things. Oh, did you hear about EDP 445?
Oh yeah, I've heard that whole saga.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought that was funny. I wasn't going to go into the whole saga. I just thought it was funny that, the guy whose fucking name was Eat Dat Pussy ended up getting busted for
Yeah,
sex with an underage girl. Or trying to. I
or
thought it
trying
was
to.
also
Yeah,
interesting that there are people who try to defend him. Like, well, he never would have gotten a chance if the police hadn't, done, made the offer. He would never have had an opportunity to actually have sex with a child, so it wouldn't have mattered. It's like,
yeah, that's fucking ridiculous.
no, I don't know if I agree with that. Like, if he's actively looking for sex with a minor, sooner or later he probably would have found one, and some poor chick. What the fuck is the guy with the squirt? Oh, that's got to be some sort of Christian baptism thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, no,
the
that's been
pictures
going
of
on for a
Smarties.
while.
Sorry.
So the stuff with EDP has been going on for a while now, dude. Because did it?
Okay.
I assume what
From
you
what I
saw.
heard, he's in prison already, so like it's pretty
Yeah,
well done at this point. Like he can't
yeah,
really. There's not likely that he's going to make some sort of big public thing go anytime soon.
right. Right. Sorry, I dropped my phone there.
Yeah.
The date today, the 13th.
Yep. Lucky
Yeah.
13. Thursday the 13th. If it was a Friday, it'd be an evil day. We'd all have to worry about being squished by the moon or some nonsense. I've never understood that. Like people that think that the full moon makes things worse, or it's Friday the 13th. There's gonna be a lot more things to like crimes and stuff, and it's like it's never been borne out by any statistical data ever.
I thought there was statistics showing that, like, with a full moon, there's an uptick in like violence and shit.
If you want to make it be that way, people have
Oh, okay.
done
It's
studies
manipulated.
that if you look at how the study was done, it's obviously manipulated. But yeah,
Yeah, like it was designed to get that result. Yeah.
yeah, they clearly wanted to do it, and it's usually it's because it's somebody writing a puff piece for some newspaper or a magazine. That doesn't really matter. Tis what it is, though. Oh, I have a COVID test I still have to do today. I have to go into like fucking Kaiser at like 7 o'clock in the fucking evening because appointments were so hard to get that I couldn't even go through the normal service I went through. I had to go through my fucking my doctor's office and lie and tell them I was exposed to somebody who had COVID. So they have to test me now.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Actually, my doctor got COVID, but I didn't actually see her the last time I went up because they called us. They had to call everybody and tell them. And I'm like, yeah, so get yourself tested. And I'm like, well, she wasn't, she wasn't even in the building while I was there. She didn't come in until after I left. So I think I'm good.
Well, and you're not sick. And it's no longer, it's just the sniffles at this point. So why on earth would you even care? I mean, if you had like some serious health issues where like, any kind of flu would be potentially dangerous for you, then yeah, go test. But otherwise,
yeah, it's pretty pointless.
Waste of everybody's time and money. And here's the thing, like they do the random testing and all that. Did that not seem like an intentional way to spread the virus further? There's kids.
Yeah.
If you're doing random testing, then you don't have any reason to be there. But the odds of you being in close contact now with somebody that has COVID have gone substantially up. Because, the people that genuinely have concerns about their health and think they might have it will be there. I don't know.
Yeah, the whole thing is just fucking. It's insane. They're still pushing this shit, dude. Because now it's like even the fucking normies that aren't paying attention are noticing.
Yeah. Yeah, normally people who wouldn't get anything out of it are seeing it.
Yeah.
I think we're repaving old ground, though. I think we should probably call it a night, because just going over and over the same thing just gets more and more depressing.
Yeah, I was gonna look through Twitter and see if anything popped up. Yeah. Oh, what I was going to ask you about was the EDP thing. Did you see where that one other YouTuber basically like catfished him?
No.
Into thinking, there's some dude, a predator poachers, I think it's called. Basically, what he did.
Police hate those people.
Yeah, that was the whole point. Was like, yeah, you did this, you turned it over to us, but it's worthless.
Yeah.
In fact, now he's going to be on edge. He's going to be looking out. Which
makes it even harder for anybody else to catch him. Yeah, exactly. It's people that the police hate those fucking operations. And it all started with To Catch a Predator. Thanks, Chris Hansen, for fucking it up for everybody.
Yeah, no shit, dude. But yeah, he had done that, and the thing is, that dude was a fucking like a scumbag too, like just a piece of shit. Because what he had done was he had the video of EDP meeting him at the spot where he thought he was meeting a 13-year-old girl or whatever, confronting with it and all that. But he did not release the video until he had enough subscribers and views and all that shit to be monetized before he actually put it on YouTube.
Oh, that's pretty scummy.
Yeah. So like, yeah. That one dude I was watching was like, yeah, he did I guess a good thing here, but he's still a shitty person. Like he's still fucking awful.
Yeah.
Because EDP is like meeting one of them, and they're just grilling him over this shit, dude. Which is, fine. He was fucking obviously thought he was meeting a 13-year-old girl. He's like, no, I was just coming. Supposed to get a cupcake. So you're supposed to give me a cupcake. That's all. Like, dude, we have the guy's like, dude, we have the chat logs
Who
of
the
you.
fuck? Who the fuck is going to meet a 13-year-old in like presumably a park or like mall or something? Not a restaurant, because you couldn't go meet a fucking child in a restaurant. Like people would be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
Because EDP is like our age. He's like in his fucking 40s, right? Like 30s, 40s, late 30s, early 40s, I should say.
Yeah, somewhere in that area.
Yeah. Like if you're 40 years old and you're meeting up with a 13-year-old for like a date, people are gonna like fucking notice. That's a weird one. So, but who the fuck is gonna meet? Like, what adult male is gonna go to somewhere to get a cupcake from a child they're not like related to? Like, if you were divorced and your daughter made cupcakes for you and she had to meet you in the park, which your wife wouldn't know, so you could get a cupcake from your daughter for your birthday, then I could see an adult male going to a park to get a cupcake. But if it's just somebody unrelated to you, yeah, dude, that just sounds fucking obnoxious. Like, I don't want to hang out with 13-year-olds anyway, but I'm sure as shit not going to drive to some fucking obscure place to meet one.
To get a fucking cupcake. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, dude, and apparently, the chat logs were pretty fucking ridiculous. Like, the dude's just a nasty motherfucker. Because, like, at one point he's talking about, he's like, yeah, I got this pizza, I'm about to tear this shit up. And then later on, he's like texting her and saying shit, or messaging her saying, like, yeah, I'm about to take a mean shit right now. And dude, he actually took a picture of the fucking turd in the toilet and sent it to her.
Why?
Or it wasn't a real person. He was sending it to these dudes pretending to be a 13-year-old girl. But he thought he was sending that to a 13-year-old girl and thought that was, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A reasonable thing to do.
That's fucking weird. Why would you send anybody a picture of your poop? That's not like a doctor, or he didn't ask. Like, if a doctor or somebody really wants a picture, like, sure, but I'm not about to start taking
an unsolicited
fucking
an unsolicited picture of your shit. It's just bizarre, dude.
Sensoka says Joe Biden didn't meet a child in a park. He'd sniff the child in the cupcake.
Yeah, that's something you would expect, though, from Joe Biden. That's just, business as usual. That fucking weirdo.
Oh, some things disturb me sometimes talking about child predator stuff. Is I was talking with some of the people that I like. They're not like real, like they're people I just happen to know through the karaoke group. They're not people I hang out with. But I was mentioning that I actually took 41 out of my little bio thing, like my actual age out of my bio thing on VR chat, because it caused more problems than it stopped. This is like, it increased the number of young fucking kids that would try to hit on me. And they were like, oh, that raises an interesting like moral quandary. Like, how is that, if you're not physically interacting with the child, is it really like immoral? I'm like, yes it is. This isn't like something you need to debate or ponder.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
Having dirty, inappropriate conversations or fake cyber sex where you're just, I don't know, like pretending to, I don't know what that shit just is so fucking cringe. But like doing that with like a 13 or a 14-year-old, that's like, nah, dude, no. Like, this is not a question on the morality of that.
Yeah, that's really bizarre, dude. Well, I guess it's not. They're actually trying to normalize it. Again, it seems like every 6 months or so, they do like a little heat check or test the waters. Like, hey, do you think they're going to accept pedophilia now? Do you think we can push it on them to accept it? Yeah. And everybody's just, again, a vast majority of people are just totally revolted by it.
Yeah, Sensoka's got a good question.
Crying.
Sensoka's got a question. How about the sheer number of them around? That's the freaky thing. Like, yeah, that's the sheer number of fucking people who are ready to go bang a child is starting to get a little disturbing. Like how many of them are out publicly.
Yeah.
And not being like horribly shamed and like run out of the fucking place, you know?
Yeah. The hotbeds again, obviously. Well, pretty much always been the Catholic Church, obviously, and then Hollywood, and then politics. Like it seems like it's a really disproportionate amount of people in those spots seem to be into fucking kids.
Yes.
God
disturbingly high amount of people.
Which one of the F keys is the one that makes it like zoom in or zoom out on your screen, or makes it bigger or smaller? Because I made it really fucking tiny on my screen, and I can't remember how to fucking correct that.
I
You know
don't
what I'm talking
know. Is it F3? F3 on my keyboard has a little magnifying glass on it. I don't think I've ever zoomed my stuff out. Sometimes if you hit Control and scroll up and down, it'll zoom your screen in and out on your like web browser.
Yeah, that's what I did. No, that's not it. Oh wait, here we go. Let me see. Reset. Oh, there we go. Okay, I got it. All right, whatever the fuck I did, I just hit the button. Like there was a little magnifying glass on the top, toolbar or whatever. I clicked on that and just hit reset.
Oh, okay.
All right, problem solved. Yeah, because I switched back over to my phone because that shit was fucking happening.
Oh, you can also hit Control and press plus and minus.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's what it is.
On your 10 key. Yeah.
All right. Good to know.
But I do have to call it a day on the stream. I got to roll.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Right on, dude.
So,
very well.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. We got the computer problem fixed, thankfully. And avoid the fucking apparent like mobs of predators out there.
Yeah. Good luck.